that came up on my screen. Some new thing from YouTube. I'll just take a screenshot of this and then I'll deal with that later. Alright, I'm fixing up a bowl of yogurt with some goji berries, and it's green yogurt because I put some nettles in there, as well as some blue-green algae. Anyway, hello there. So far I'm just talking to myself here. I'm fixing up some yogurt. Realize nobody tuned in just yet. But you know, these things start, and sometimes on the replay it doesn't, you know, it doesn't matter whether someone was live in that moment or not. So hey guys, Kim, good to see you in here. Kim, holy smokes, Kim, I was thinking of you today because you know what, I got a big bag of coffee, just like I said I would. It's all ground up. I was in Costco and I bought a big bag of it. So that'll thank you, that'll set me up in the van for a while. Anyway, yeah, I'm just I'm chilling here. I'm just fixing up a little bowl of yogurt, and it's green because I've got blue-green algae in it. Some stinging nettles that I harvested last year was in that video that I did. I still have a little bit of those left. And some goji berries, coconut, shredded coconut, that is, and then turmeric. And then I've got some like collagen in it. Yeah, just collagen, which is like a protein. But I was looking at the ingredients of the collagen that I bought, and it says from bovine skin, which is basically cow skin. I was looking at marine collagen the other day, and it said it was from fish scales. So apparently I should be keeping the scales off of any of the fish that I catch and maybe find a way to turn that into collagen. Gotta make use of all the animals. Oh, Michelle, thank you. Hang on, I'm going to turn on my computer because some of these comments are flying by and I'm just reading them on my phone right now. So I'm going to pull them up on here too. That way I can see the whole feed. So far I just got you guys on my phone there. Oh, let's go. Got to boot this up. So there we go. Hey Tyler, how's it going, brother? I love the videos. Your videos help me out, make it out in the dark place. And it just faded away. I think I got the most of your comment, Tyler. So far I'm reading all the comments off my phone and they disappear really quickly. Thanks, man. I'm glad to hear that. That's cool. It's been a journey for me, man. It's been a real big journey. And when I started this lifestyle off, like I was in a pretty like hurt place, you know, like I was going through a lot of stuff mentally and emotionally at the time. And there was a lot of difficulties and stuff in life that I was facing that I don't talk about too much because a lot of it's sort of private in nature when you talk about like separations and family and that kind of thing. And I don't want to share that necessarily because like our understandings of what took place is just a story that we have in our heads, and sometimes that can evolve over time, and we might, you know, learn something down the road and then we'll get a totally different perspective on something that took place in the past. So part of it's just sort of saving, you know, saving myself and anybody else that's involved in my own storyline, some of the, you know, misidentifications and perceptions and all that sort of stuff. So it's just stories, but on an emotional level, yeah, it was really difficult. And going into van life and sort of rebuilding my life like this was a challenge for sure. But I've come this far, and I'm still climbing those steps, and I'm looking after myself, and I'm feeling better and better every day. And I hope that, and it sounds like that some of my stuff's inspiring to some of you guys, and to me that's the most I could ever ask for, and that's really the biggest motivation behind a lot of the videos that I make. And and honestly, sometimes I'm making videos and I feel totally disorganized in what I'm doing. I've been feeling that a lot lately. Just not necessarily sure what I'm doing, what I'm sharing, where I'm going. I feel like these interesting pressures lately because I've been using this as a way to make money. And it's at this point in time, YouTube is my only income, but it's not a lot of income. It's a very little bit compared to what I used to make. So it's been a struggle, and because of that, I've been leaning into it a little bit more and sort of putting more pressure on myself to produce better content and ask. Well, and this is a good opportunity for me to ask you guys, like, what would you like to see more of? But at the same time, I need to totally honor myself in all of this, and I need to understand, like, sometimes it doesn't make sense to drive for 3.5 hours out to some place in the backcountry to do a fishing trip that may turn out to be a good video or may not be a good video, and it might cost me $300 in gas, and I can't really afford to be doing that too much these days. Every now and then, though, that something like that is pretty fun, and it's worth it. So I'm still booting up my chat, you guys, so hang on a sec here. Okay, I got it now. I can see everybody's thing. Do you find that Crocs go with any outfit? I forget who the Ray Carroll said that. Hang on, I'm just trying to find a spot to put everything here. I'm like propping my phone up right back here, and then I put my computer like in front of it. That way I kind of got, I can kind of see you guys. You can see me. It's a little bit of an ordeal. What I really need to do, something I want to do, is put magnetic surface mounts up on my ceiling so that I can stick my phone up there and just move it all around through the van. Get some better angles for when I'm trying to do cooking shots and stuff like that. But, well, this is working right now for this. Anyway, Ray Carroll, do I find that Crocs go with any outfit? And do you have a lucky pair for fishing? I have a pair of Crocs. I'm not even sure that they're Crocs, but they're like that type of foam slipper thing. I've had a bunch of them through my lifetime. These ones are starting to wear out on the bottoms, but I haven't had them in the van lately. They're in my shop space at the moment, and they're nice when I'm working on the van and I'm getting in and out quickly, and I can just kick them on and take them off nicely. They're good on some fishing excursions when I just want to slip them on and walk through some stony water or something like that, where the bottom might have barnacles or something sharp like that. And they're lightweight. They dry out pretty quick. I can pretty much just toss them anywhere in the van, and that's kind of why I have them, is they're sort of a functional item. But right now they're over there. I don't think they're totally fashionable footwear, of course, but they are functional. Well, Kalani, thank you very much. That's super cool. Thanks. My oldest daughter and I are planning to start making our own kimchi. We ordered fermentation tools similar to yours. Thanks for the idea. Well, that's fun. That'll be a fun project. My mom made kimchi once or twice, and she's shared a bit of the process that she's gone through. I don't think I would get into doing that in the van because I think it's a bit more involved than just the regular lacto fermentation that I've done. I tried a batch the other day, and I actually tried to film it, and it was a total fail. And there were so many other things going on at the time. I just never put it in a video, but yeah, I failed at it. Starbright, I'm eating yogurt. It's got some blue-green algae in it, some nettles that I harvested last year, some turmeric, as well as goji berries and coconut and chia seeds. And usually I mix all these things into my yogurt. Um, yeah. Yeah, Eric Comp, $300 in gas to go catch a fish. I guess my ignorant American perception of Canada is way off. Well, it kind of depends, like, where I'm going. Like, if I just went around here to Chemainus, this is where I am right now currently. There's a couple spots where I could access, but, you know, if I look on my Navionics app, which shows the water depth and the tide charts and all that sort of thing, it doesn't really look super interesting underwater topography. And I'm not sure that I would even catch anything. There's been a lot of places that I've gone fishing and I've spent like almost an entire day just casting and nothing is happening at all. There's no bites, there's nothing. The only time I've actually had any success shore fishing on the ocean was when I was down at Port Renfrew when the coho were coming up the river and I caught that coho salmon. But even then, that was almost 4 days of casting and retrieve. I had some bites, but it was, there wasn't a lot of action. There was a lot of fish jumping, but they weren't biting very much. Like, it took a long time for me to actually catch one. And there was like sometimes 20 guys up and down the beach fishing, and through the whole day, maybe one person would catch a fish. So shore fishing in the ocean, yeah, sometimes it's difficult. Crabbing, on the other hand, that's different. That's easy. I haven't done that in a while, but I'm planning on it. I've got some crab bait in my fridge right now, so that's gonna come soon. Anyway, holy smokes, man! Good to see you guys. Nice to see a whole bunch of you in here. So Eric Comp, you got a question that says, how many gigabytes are my uploads? I have one that's 17 gigabyte. Can upload on the road, would take days. Tips for a noob. Mine are usually, like my videos, I think the biggest one was maybe 4.5 or 5 gigs. Typically, they're about 2 to 3 gigs for my videos. Everything is basically edited in 1080p, so it could be that you're running 4K or something like that. I don't shoot my videos in 4K or upload in 4K because most of the time a lot of people are consuming this on a small phone or something like that, or an iPad. I know there's a lot of people that watch YouTube videos on TV nowadays, so maybe 4K could be used in those cases. I'd love to film in 4K and edit it, but it takes a lot more hard drive space, and it takes a lot more time in the program, the editor, to put all that together. It's just a longer process for everything. And right now, I feel like I don't need that for me, because the workload is already enough as it is for now. 1080p though, try that. Traveling gamer, yeah. All my t-shirts are ones that I made. So there's another one that I made when I was down in Victoria. Yes, Kim, crab cakes. I might do crab cakes again. When I did it in the past, I was using panko, and I also use mayo in the recipe. I haven't bought mayo in a long time. I could make it maybe and use some different ingredients, but it's a bit of a process. I suppose it might be worth the process to try and do that for crab cakes. And I'd like to maybe find an alternative to panko itself. When I was doing my keto diet a while back, I was thinking about sometimes you go into not all stores have this, but you buy these little pork rinds. It's basically like some deep fried pork skin or something, like a bag of chips, but it's pork rinds. I don't know if it'd work, but I was wondering if maybe you could crumble all that up into like crumbs and use that as a placement for something like panko. That would be like a keto substitute for something like that. I don't know if it would work. I never tried it. It was just something that I sort of thought maybe. Oh, Starbright, thank you. Thank you, Pam. Appreciate that. Have a good night. Yeah, thanks so much. Eric Com, thank you too. Cheers. Hmm. Sean Stevenson, happy Friday to you too. And Fern Fins 2021, you're saying avocado mayo is the way to go. I think avocado is like it's a better oil, but it still goes through quite a process. By the time it becomes an oil, I still don't think it's that good of a product. I think it's marketed as being healthy, but I don't think it really is all that it's cracked up to be. So I stay away from avocado oil. When it first came out, I was all over it, and then I started doing some digging into it, and I was just kind of like, no, I'm gonna stay away from that. But it's appealing because it has like it doesn't have that flavor characteristics as like coconut oil or olive oil, and so it draws itself into, or sorry, it because it doesn't have a lot of flavor, it lends itself well to things like mayo. Whereas olive oil kind of overpowers the taste of olive oil or mayonnaise if it's used, unless you use like a really like light olive oil that's not a virgin olive oil. Maybe it'd be okay that way. However, speaking of oils, hang on, I just gotta get it. I was in a little market recently, and they have this. It's an extra virgin macadamia nut oil. So this is actually pretty interesting to me because this is it's not from roasted macadamia nuts. There's a big difference because it's virgin. This is going to be like an unaltered oil from macadamia nuts, and these things are really good in having a better fat profile in them. So, and I've had a little taste of this already. It's actually really nice. I think this would probably make an awesome mayo with this stuff. So maybe I'll try making a mayo with this. I think that's a good idea. I'm gonna try making a mayo with that eventually at some point. But yeah, I've never seen a macadamia nut oil before, and that one's extra virgin, cold pressed, so it's really nice. I'll give that a go. Sorry, I'm just holding in a burp because I got a little bit of, I don't want to belch on this live stream. But go to Rolls. You gonna buy Chrome's old van when the beast is up and running? Nope, I'm not. I wouldn't take that van even if he gave it to me for free, unless I was in a particular jam and it was gonna really help me out or something like that. Right now, I see that thing as being full of headaches that I don't even want to get involved in. That's just me, and knowing where his van is at. And that's a totally different build. Chrome's build works really well for him, which is great. If it was me, I'd want to gut the whole thing and start over and build something new, but I wouldn't do it in that vehicle because it's gone through so much, and I don't think it's a good investment, personally. Yeah. It's not to say a Ford Econoline van that was in better shape, maybe with a 7.3 liter diesel in it, like the one he's got in his Zambo, that would be more attractive. But yeah, I'd rather just start with a blank page and start over. But I'm not even sold on those vans particularly yet. I'm starting, but I am starting to think about another van. I'm starting to think about, it's not going to happen right away, but I figure at this point I might as well start researching the crap out of this whole thing and really figure out like what direction I want to go in for a replacement van. For a long time, I was thinking I was going to go with a Sprinter van. I was really excited about those, but I'm not so sure that makes 100% sense. So I'm still going to look around. I think I could do better than that. Yeah, for infants, chosen foods, avocado oil, no saturated fat, neutral, no chemicals used in the process. Yeah, I mean, well, if they're not using chemicals to extract the oils, that might be better for sure. Like if some of the process that the avocado oil is going out, but then the end product is like, you got to look at the omega 6 and omega 3 profile of the oil too. And that's one of the things that I consider too. Just trying to find things that are a little bit, have a better ratio of omega 6 and omega 3 in them is really what I'm going for when I look for oils. That being said, I don't exactly know what's in macadamia nut. I think it's much better than something like I can't say it's much better than avocado oil because I don't know. I'd have to Google it right now. Avocado oil, omega 6, omega 3, avocado oil, omega. Sorry, guys. Some of you guys are like, I don't care. Okay. Avocado oil has 13 to 1 omega 6 to omega 3. And you're looking for something that's more like a 3 to 1 or a 2 to 1, typically. So it's high in omega 6 compared to. So I'm just going to put in this macadamia nut oil. Macadamia nut oil omega profile, and we'll just see what the comparison is. It's just saying it's low in omega 6. Okay, so macadamia nut oil by comparison is a 3 to 2. So it's a much better profile. Anyway, that's kind of one of the things that I look at when I think about oils. I knew macadamia nut was better. I just didn't know exactly what it was, and I didn't want to say without checking. So now I checked. You could Google it too if you want to know. Just Google. It's good. Hang on a second in here. I think I missed a super chat. Did I miss a super chat? Kim Jones. Thank you, Kim. Good night. Gotta go. Have to get up early. Have a good night, Kim. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. All right, let's move on from oils. But this year, one of the things that I decided to do was to cut out all the bad oils in my diet. So I'm just having like good healthy oils in my diet. So I haven't bought any mayonnaise because I can't find one that's got a good oil in it that I'd be willing to buy, but I'd be willing to try making it with the macadamia nut oil. Yeah, it was, so that bottle, price-wise, it's 250 mils. This was $13. So really that's just a cup of oil. It's expensive for what it was. I just had to buy it because I was just like, oh, I haven't seen it before, and I was excited, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. So there you go. I wouldn't, if you had to make mayonnaise out of that, I'm sure it'd be quite expensive. Yeah. Eric, you're saying something about my diet is a hot mess, but I walk 5 to 10 miles a day. That's great. I could definitely do some more walking on a daily basis. I get into ruts where like I'm active, and then I spend 2 or 3 days just sitting in my van, not doing anything, and just editing a video. And then I feel like, oh God, I feel like crap. And then I got to get up and go do something. And sometimes I find that it's not a really good, healthy pattern, to be honest, because I get into these stagnant positions for a while, and then I feel like I got to like use a bunch of effort to try and get out of there. I'm not particularly motivated at that point to get outside and go exercise. And that's just how my own body's working with those particular things. So I'm still trying to find a nice groove between making videos and editing, and not sitting on my butt as long as I am sometimes to put those together. Sometimes they go well and sometimes they don't. Yeah. So to Jazz Rob, yeah, I did quit drinking. Quit drinking last, like over a year ago. I decided I kept it to myself. It was New Year's Eve. I had a good night with Chrome and Emmy, and I think Jeffy Bear was there. There was a bunch of friends. We were all up at Rothtrevor Park, and I already knew that I was like, I don't want to do this anymore for at least a while. Like, I want to take a break from it. And that night, I was just like, as weird as it is, because I've never made New Year's resolutions, I was just like, I'm starting now, and I'm going to do it for a year. And I did it for a year. And as I was approaching the end of that year, I was thinking about, am I gonna have a drink again? And I thought, no, I don't want to drink. Like, I don't want to do it. I'd rather just go another year. I like not drinking. I'm saving money. I'm saving my health. For me, it feels good. So yeah, Julianne, you got a question here about, do you do maintenance of your sewing machines yourself or take it to a shop? I just lubricate them a bit, and I've taken them into a shop to get serviced in the past. When I lived in Calgary, it was a long time ago, there was an awesome shop there. I can't remember the name. I think it was somewhere down on like, I don't know if it's McLeod Trail or something like that. It was like sort of southeast busy section of Calgary. There was like a big long strip there, and there was a sewing store down there. That's where I originally bought my sewing, both my serger and my sewing machine. And those guys would service it, and they did a great job. Felt super good working with those guys back then. There was a place in Vancouver I went to, and I can't say I really felt as confident with them. So I don't know. But yeah, generally I bring it in and I get it maintained somewhere. There's a place out in Victoria, I forget the name of it. I went in there once, and I got a good sense of the place. It was a whole bunch of older ladies that were just total nerds on sewing machines, and I was like, I feel good about, if I had to buy a machine, I'd probably go to that store or get one service. I'd go there. I know I'm not getting to everybody. I just want to say hi, everybody. Thanks for coming tonight. Thanks for hanging out. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to get to them. Sometimes I can't keep up with everything in the chat here, but I'll try my best. Dazel, how many drinks would I have had in one session back in those days? So, prior to quitting drinking, I would usually go without having anything for, I don't know, sometimes 4 days to a week where I wouldn't have anything at all. And then I would have a beer with a friend or something like that. And then I would be like, I don't know, I'd have 2 beers, maybe 3 beers, but it'd usually be 2. If it was a longer period of hangout, sometimes I could get away with 3, but I really had to be careful with that because that would really upset me the next day, and then I would feel hungover. But then I would go on to a little bit of a train, and then the next day I would be like, oh, let's have some more beers or whatever, and that might carry on for 3 or 4 days or 5 days before I'd be like, okay, it's time to have a little bit of a rest and sort of recover from all this sort of stuff. So I found it was kind of this weird relationship because I could see myself getting into it and then kind of wanting to stay with it and keep drinking, I'd be like inclined to go to the liquor store and buy something for the van and hang out in here and edit a video and have like a sip of, I don't know, whiskey or something like that. And it was, there was some nice things about that, but it was, it's so much nicer in a sense not to be doing that right now. Like I can have a nice, I don't know, cup of coffee. I know that's not the same thing. Tea, that's not the same thing. But if I would go to a store, I'd buy like an expensive canned kombucha or some kind of natural beverage of some kind. That would be as expensive as a beer. And like some of the canned drinks and sodas that are in the stores these days are like $4 or $5 for a little 250 milliliter can. And there's one in the stores, I forget what it's called, but I do buy it from time to time. If I'm like gonna go socialize by a campfire, I'll be like, oh, I'll just get that. There's no sugar in it. It's like a herbal tea. I'll have that, and it's a nice treat. But yeah, I don't know. It's it was a journey. It's yeah. I could see myself basically like I could see where I was like starting to become a little bit um what's the word? Like I don't know what the right word is. Is like I could it was almost like I was leaning towards becoming addicted to alcohol, and I was like I could see a pattern starting to emerge, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go down this road. Um, and I was trying to do a keto diet back then, which I was doing, and so I was trying to stay away from drinking beer because of the carbs, and I would drink something like a whiskey or a tequila or a vodka or something like that instead. But I was just like, I'm not doing my liver any favors, and I'm not helping myself out. But yeah, anyway, that's it. There was a time a long, 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 long time ago when I was probably in my 20s where I could drink probably uh, almost 10 or 12 beers in a night, and I would just be like wake up the next day and I'd be good to go again. That was when I was building scooters and I was in my 20s, and I don't know what it was back then, but I could just put them away. Um, yeah. But as I got older, 2, 3 beers became my max. Mm. And after that binge that I just shared, when I was younger, I stopped after all that. Like I had to do it. There was something in me. I was just like, I came out of a relationship and I was just like, I want to drink beer and I want grease. I want to be dirty. Like covered in grease head to toe, and I want to drink beer. And so I built scooters and welded and fabricated and all that sort of stuff, and I drank a lot of beer and I got really dirty and it was a lot of fun. but then that was over with, and then I was like on to something else after that. Rel Van T Traveler, no, I don't eat bread. Um, I ate some bread over the holiday season, like Christmas and New Year's. I ate a whole bunch of turkey sandwiches when I was at my cousin's place because when they left, I was looking after his dog. This was when I was doing these sewing videos where I was making these T-shirts. There was like 15 pounds of turkey left in the fridge, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get some bread and mayo and make some sandwiches. And I think I gained like 10 pounds in that period, and then I had to work it all off again. It was fun. But yeah, since then, no more bread. It's not something I buy for the van or anything like that either. So, NGNT, the green thing that I'm eating right now, it's yogurt. I just mix some blue-green algae and some stinging nettles into it. That's why it's green. There's also turmeric in there too. So, yeah, a bunch of other things, but that's what it is. Huh. Oh, are we still live, you guys? Hang on a sec. I think we're still live. Oh, I see what's going on. My battery died on my phone while I was hotspotting on it. It'd be complicated if this other phone died at the same time, so we're still live. We're just having technical difficulties. Let's see. Hang on, I'm just gonna... I'm probably gonna have to plug this one in too. Hang on. We're plugging in this one. I don't know. And I'll hotspot it to that phone, and hopefully we don't have any lagging issues. Okay, Kawika, I think that's your name. You got a question? Dang, I'd hike. You would answer. Okay, I'd like you to answer the financial side of things, as you've been so open with that, which is great. You seem to be doing better, so curious what YouTube pulls in and rent on the shop, etc. All right, so I'll answer this question. It's all in, like YouTube. So I get money through ad revenue through YouTube. So when that's where the income comes in from this. You could probably look me up on a thing called Social Blade, which I think does a fairly accurate representation on which YouTube channel and how much money a YouTube channel makes. Mine's pulled in, like, over Christmas time was my biggest month this past year, and I made $1,400 in December. That's on my that's YouTube. And then I've got a Patreon income, so I've got a bunch of Patreon supporters, and I make some money with that too. It sort of fluctuates with month to month, so sometimes it's like all in, like maybe $400 or a bit more than that. And so, to be fair, I've been going on, and December was a good month. There was months before that where I was only making $500 with YouTube. So sometimes I was just getting $1,000 of income through this in a month, and I wasn't pulling much more income out from other sources out there. Ate a lot of sardines, and there was a lot of stuff where I didn't, show so much on video, where things were tight. I'm still debt free, but I'm riding an edge right now for sure. So these days, since December, YouTube took a dive because the ad revenue loses its momentum, I guess. Once Christmas is over, then the ad space on YouTube becomes cheaper for a lot of advertisers. And so the creators end up making less money through the periods that come afterwards from Christmas. I've been slowly growing too at the same time, and this past month is looking a little bit better, and it's closer to what I did make in December. So that's looking good. And I'm hoping that I can get up higher and higher, because honestly, like, for me to $2,000 a month is not enough to live on, and I'm not even there yet. I'm more like $1,500 all in. And that's really difficult to live on that. Trust me. Especially with the price of things going up. I do a lot of sitting, not going anywhere. So a $300 fishing trip to the backcountry so I can make a nice catch and cook video. I was like, oh, well, as much as I'd like to make a video for that, that's expensive, and, I want it to work, but I might also have to pull my pants up or do something and go get a part-time job just to keep things going. So anyway, I don't know. It's kind of a fluctuating thing, but generally that's where things are at with that. And my computer is still trying to connect to the internet, so I'm just trying to cancel that. Come on, baby. Try refreshing this whole thing. some YouTubers make tons of money. If I keep going with this and it actually, like, I'm trying to cross over a tipping point, to be honest with you. I want to get over a threshold where I can just kind of be like, okay, the pressure's off. Like, I can do this now. And I'm at this stage where I'm kind of like, oh shit, am I going to be able to cross this tipping point, or am I going to have to retreat and start putting my time in somewhere else? I don't know. Like, I'm really hoping that I can cross over this tipping point. So I'm working really hard. If you guys have video suggestions, or there's things that you want to see that you're like, this is the content that you make that, you know, we really like to see, that's really good, that's great. I followed some of that advice in the past too, because some people are like, yeah, I want to see more hunting videos and stuff. And I'm like, I'm totally passionate about filming that stuff. But man, those videos, they hurt the channel. Like, and then I go, okay, well, and that sucks, because then I'm like thinking, like, I'm like, damn it, I'm in this position where I'm thinking, okay, well, do I want to make what I want to make and just share what I'm really passionate and have a good time and fun thing doing? Or do I want to sort of censor myself a little bit and try to figure out what content is going to make the most monetary value on the channel and then go down that direction? At the same time, thinking about the algorithm and how that's going to play a role in all of this, and the, you know, the audience that's going to grow from that. I don't want to get down this rabbit hole of making content to make money, if you know what I mean. I don't want to like, you know, understand, like, I want to make money with this, but I don't want to be disingenuous with myself at the same time. That's like the main thing, and that's a big thing to navigate for me right now, where things are at this particular time. There's other ways to make money too, and I've been really terrible at jumping onto that other stuff, like merch, and you know, I've chatted with my friend Chrome from Van City Van Life, who's kind of gone down that whole trajectory, merch, selling stickers and all that sort of stuff. He doesn't make a lot of money with his merch. He makes most of his money on his YouTube, his ad revenue, and his I guess Patreon and his sponsorships that he's got. So that's where sort of him as kind of like a YouTube coach or mentor, I suppose, you know, would say that's where he gets most of his money in. So then I look at it and I go, well, knowing that, I don't want to just kind of start going down and start investing a bunch of time and energy into like creating some merch and stickers where it's not going to generate much in return. I think more lately it's probably has more to do with sponsorships, brand deals, stuff like that, or maybe setting up like Amazon affiliates and stuff and trying to get some money and revenue through that. That's been something that I've been thinking about. And I know, like, there's even a part of me that's kind of like, I don't want to necessarily like I like to support local business as much as possible, but on the other hand, there's some really nice benefits to things like Amazon. It's just an efficient way to get certain things. On the other hand, I really like supporting local businesses. And if it did come down to merch, you guys, like, eventually, like, I would rather design the clothing and then get something printed on it, and maybe even have my own clothing line on the side of all of this sort of stuff. But I know that's going to take a tremendous amount of effort. It probably require at this particular stage of collaboration with somebody else that's like-minded, that we're like, okay, let's try building this on the side, and I can still do my YouTube and that sort of thing. But we'll see. I don't know. Yeah. In the meantime, I'm just, you know, I'll take on little side jobs here and there and make some side money and keep doing what I'm doing. And fingers crossed I go over this tipping point and I can actually be like, okay, you know. There's definitely some fun things that I'd love to do. Like, I'd love to get a bigger vehicle. I'd love to be able to be in the backcountry more. Part of the reason why I'm not out in the wild as much as I, in my channel names, sharing the wild, as much as the reason I'm not out there as much as I want to be is because I don't have a lot of space in here. There's only so much I could carry. My diesel fuel tank is 10 liters. That'll last me 3 days in the winter anywhere, and then I have to fill it up again. I could get a small jerry can and maybe two and bring those with me. It would crowd my space up a little while, but that might give me a little bit more time out there. Food-wise, I could probably carry a good 2 to 3 weeks of food in the van as it is. But then there's also, if I'm out of cell service, I don't want to be out of cell service really right now for more than a couple, 3 days at a time, and that feels like a stretch at the moment. For the main reason I don't want to be disconnected from the channel and being able to upload videos, and also my daughter and having video calls with her. Like, I like to be full-time available for her. So if she calls me, and like the calls I get from her are sometimes totally random. It's just like, oh, there she is, she's calling. And so, you know, I like to be available for that. And if I'm in the backcountry and I'm not connected to the internet or something like that, then I'm not able to, you know, I don't know that she called. And I don't want her to have these experiences of like trying to reach out to me and not being able to get a hold of me. So anyway, that's the other reason. Starlink is definitely something that appeals to me, but it's, you know, it's a front load. It's a $2,000 investment, and then it's $200 a month to operate that. I need more revenue in order to keep that in and then take that on. But I would love to, because I think that would help me stay out there longer, especially in the summertime. So maybe by this summer I can have that, because I won't need the diesel heater so much. And the food sources out in the wild, like, I mean, there's a lot of plants out there that I could just live off of and, you know, go fishing and stay out there for a long time if I wanted to. So I don't know. That might be fun in the summertime. So we'll see, something to work towards. Oh, Peter, hey man, good to see you in here. Peter Jones is in the comments. I met him in Chemainus the other day. We had a couple cups of coffee together, and he bought me breakfast one morning. It was great. We talked about van life stuff, electrical stuff. He had a bunch of questions, and it got the wheels turning about like, oh, maybe I can make a video about some of these things that we're talking about, because it just made me realize like a lot of the electrical stuff can be sort of daunting, but there's some good information in there that maybe I could share and might help some people out. Maybe that might generate, you know, a little bit more growth for the channel as well. Insanity, you're talking about. Since I teased you about eating all that meat, what about cholesterol? I'm not concerned about the cholesterol. So I haven't done any recent blood work, so I don't actually know. And I'm kind of kicking myself because I feel like I should go get some blood tests done. There's this guy that I watch on YouTube a fair bit, Dr. Sten Ekberg or something, and he's doing this blood work course right now that I'd love to take. I just haven't been able to flip the bill for it. I think it's like $300, but basically part of the course is to teach you all the markers in a blood test. So when you take your blood and you take it to a lab and you're like, okay, let's get all these things tested, he teaches you how to read and understand all that stuff so that you can be your own doctor in a sense, and understand how to modify things in your diet and improve your blood tests as you go. So there's other things you can test for, things that are related to cholesterol and stuff. I'm not even going to begin to like try to explain all this stuff, because I don't even know how to talk about any of it, and I don't understand it either. Like, I'm learning, and it's really fun. But from what I've been learning, cholesterol, things like eggs that are high in cholesterol, they're not bad for you like we've been taught. They can be bad for you, but where they become bad for you is when you have a lot of refined carbohydrates and sugars, high glucose in your diet, things where you have insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, all that sort of stuff. So it's like those are the things that, in combination or even by themselves, they're what causes these things to go up. And this guy was doing a couple videos just to like, he's like, what happens if I eat this crazy amount of butter? What will happen to my blood? And then he's like, he's doing some self tests, and obviously it's so metabolism that he's working with. But it was kind of funny to see him like just like pound back 100 eggs in a week and just be like, yeah. So it turns out that it's not that bad actually. It was good food. Hard to eat 100 eggs in a week though. Wow. Anyway, so I'm not worried about cholesterol so much because I've got I'm barely eating any of those refined carbohydrates. I do have some carbs here and there, but I'm not. It's not the bulk of my diet. Most of my diet is protein, greens, vegetables, things like that, and that's. I feel good, and I feel great, man. I feel really good. I don't feel worried about it at all. But I kind of feel like maybe I should do some blood work and really get a sense of it, because it's kind of naive not to. So, but there you go. Hope long-winded answer there. Hopefully that gives you some info on that. uh, Pretty fun. Thanks, Music Junkie. I see your comment. Your video editing has really improved. I love the fast fire making. Yeah, that was a fun clip. I like that little fast fire making. I've done a little bit of that in the past with some other videos where I was like putting all the stones in a ring, and I was like, I'd love to do that again. That was really fun. But thank you, appreciate that. Man, oh man. So I'll just catch up on a few other comments here and see. Oh, I'm like way in the back here. Yeah, the rain. Yeah, Eric Comp. Yeah, I love the rain, man. Genesis. So, how about some salmon processing boat as seasonal work to supplement income? So, it doesn't matter what it is. If I go do a job, whatever job it is, whether it's salmon fishing or van building or working in a yoga studios like I was doing, like I've even thought about maybe reaching back out to the company that I was working with and seeing if I could help them out as a consult or something like that. And I think I will do that anyways, just because I still care about those guys quite a bit. I just want to make sure they're on good footing. But I don't know if I really want to get that involved with it. I kind of have to be careful about where I'm going to end up putting my time right now. So I've been really thinking about that strategy. And honestly, like I don't have a lot of answers for it really, but I know if I just get into a job and I start doing it, I won't be able to make these videos. Like I can still make a YouTube video, but you got to understand, like when I go out and film a video, it's like it might be a video that I film over the course of a day, or maybe over the course of an afternoon, or sometimes it's over the course of multiple days. And then I take that footage and then I edit it. So the filming part of it is just being conscious of like what I'm doing when I have the camera, and realizing that I'm making a video and I'm filming a video. And hopefully I'm going to cover something that I have an intention to do, and things kind of follow along a linear path, or somewhat they kind of go in the direction that I'm hoping they will, which almost never happens. There's so many clips at the beginning where I'm like, all right guys, we're gonna do this today, and then I'm just like, none of that happened. Why do I even bother starting a video off like that? Like it's like sometimes I just feel like it's best just to be like, let's see what happens, and then it unfolds. But the editing side of that comes back to, like, if you watch a minute of video, so if I get a 24-minute video that goes out there, you could say it took me 24 hours to edit that video, and that's no joke. And so if I get 2 videos out a week that are like that, the filming and the editing, that's a full-time job. Like, it takes a ton of time for me to put this stuff together for you. And so if I go get a job where I'm making that money, I could do all that sort of stuff. then I won't be able to do this near the same capacity that I've been doing it at lately. I think about that and I think, well, that might mean this is a story in my head, but I think like if that happens, my channel's not going to grow as quickly, things are going to slow down. Like I've got this chitter chatter in my head about it all. And maybe that's something that I could work on, the psychology of that as well. But that comes up, and then I think, well, if I go work on a salmon fishing boat and I'm catching fish, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm really living to my fullest, and I'm not really sharing as much as I could share. I'm just catching fish and I'm supporting, maybe a smaller family or a fishing company and the people that are consuming that product. So there's a little bit of a relationship that I'm involved in things, but I don't have the same impact as I would if I'm doing this avenue right now. Like sharing videos is like the biggest sense of calling that I have currently. I can't imagine, like, I can think of a few other things that maybe would be just as impactful or maybe more powerful, and I'm always looking for something bigger in a sense. But because of the relationship I've got with all of you guys as viewers, and developing the channel and having a presence here has really made me think that this is something that I don't really want to throw away. I don't want to just walk away from it. And, like I do really care about it quite a bit, and want to keep going with it. I've learned a ton on this journey for myself, and I suppose some of the biggest things I've learned has been a lot of it's just been about my own psychological process, how I think about myself, how I have worked through different things, and then I think about this kind of thing, like if I'm able to impact somebody in a positive way by sharing some of the shortcomings that I've had, or some of the difficult times I've gone through, which I think I've done to some extent. If that helps somebody else work through a difficult stage in their life and it creates inspiration, like to me, that's that's super powerful. It's really great, and I feel like that kind of thing is really what I want to be a part of creating and sharing more of in the world, because I feel like that has bigger, more positive reaches into a bigger community than if I were just to have a job somewhere and I might work with 8 or 10 people for years and years. So, but I don't exactly know what I'm doing here. Like, I'm shooting videos, I'm sharing the wild, and sometimes it's just this jolly good time doing something, and I'm just making dinner in my van, and I think, yeah, maybe I could make a better video that is going to be more meaningful and more inspiring than just cooking a spaghetti bolognese in the van or something. But it's kind of fun, and I'm playing around with stuff like that a little bit because I'm trying to figure out, like, what do you guys want to see? And like, I've done a little bit of research, and it turns out a lot of you guys search for camping and cooking. And I was like, okay, well, let's do more camping and cooking videos. Simple. I mean, and then I was chatting with my mom, and I'm like, if I can make a living just camping and cooking food, I mean, that's like a dream, right? Like, I mean, it is, but it's like I still want to do more than that. I want to share more than that, and I want to be able to, I don't know. I just want to do something more for all of you, for the greater community, and that's where I'm at these days. But I'm super grateful for all of this and this platform and being able to be in the position that I'm in now, and having the relationships with you guys that I have. I've also been thinking about finally doing some meetups too, by the way. I'm going to get around to that at some point, so stay tuned for that. I know that's a local thing, obviously, but community and all that stuff is becoming a bigger and bigger thing for me as I get older. Yeah. Whew. I feel all emotional from that. That's cool. Yeah, obviously, I was pretty passionate about that. There's, yeah, man, there's just so much that I'd love to, don't fall over, that I'd love to do. And I want the channel to grow more. I want to be able to make more money with it so that I'm not stressed out and thinking that maybe I might have to go get a job somewhere and work somewhere, because I don't want to slow this down, really. I'd rather speed this up. But I also kind of need. I was thinking about that the other day too, and I was like, well, what's my threshold with this? Because I I don't want to burn myself out either and get into this weird rabbit hole where I'm doing things just because I feel like I need to put a video out or something like that. Like, I don't want to get into that mentality. And there's been a couple videos where I put out where I felt like it felt like it was almost like a regurgitation in a way. It's not what it was, but it was just kind of like, here's a video. And I wasn't particularly interested in or proud of it or anything like that. And it turns out those are my best performing videos on the channel, are the ones where I was just like, I had no heart into it. I was just like, oh, just whatever, just get this video out. And that's all I got right now. And it turns out to do really, really, really well. And I'm like, why the hell is that doing well? And that other video that I'm so like in love with gets no views. Nothing happens. I'm just like, that was fantastic. What do you mean that video is not doing good? I don't know. YouTube. Hang on here. Camera's, sorry about the shake. I'm trying to find a spot for you. I think it's falling off its little. Oh, I see what's going on. Hang on. This might help. Oh. I saw a question there. It said, do some mushrooms and asparagus picking videos, but I just read the first part because the comment disappeared and I was catching the rest of it. Yeah, thanks, underscore. Yeah, I'm gonna do some foraging videos this spring. Those are gonna come. Everything that I do is gonna revolve around me visiting my daughter. I'm trying to put that together. It's just been navigating through a maze of stuff in order to make that work. But all aside, my focus this spring is going to be foraging and sharing that stuff. I mean, fingers crossed, man. Like, fingers crossed. I mean, if something happens where it's just like, okay, I need to make a lot of money really quickly, and it's just the way it is, and it's just the way it is. But I don't know. That's what I want to share. I think that would be a lot of fun, and I've been trying to. I said I was going to do that almost 2 years in a row, and I didn't really cover much of that on the channel. Oh, is Jeffy in here? Oh, hi, Jeffy Bear. Hi, brother. Oh, Water Train Muse is in here too. Laura, good to see you. Oh, right on. Guess who's parked up in front of me here? Just a little ways is Emmy the cat lady van. She's just up here. I was chatting with her earlier today. Oh, the Broken Nomad. Thanks, brother. Buy some more food. So, cheers. Appreciate it. I'll put that towards some more food. I think I've got another little bit of yogurt, but I'm planning on going on a little bit of a fast, probably for 2 days. Got to save money, you know. Just kidding. It'll help. It's amazing how much money is spent in a day of just eating food, but I'm gonna go on a fast for a little while. I want to get my body into, I think it's called autophagy or something like that. It's a state of like where your body begins to use up, like it's like searching for food and protein. And when you get to that stage where it's kind of like it understands there's no more food coming in, then it's kind of like, oh shit, like we gotta pull from some spots. It's so when it gets into a stage of autophagy, from my understanding, is it starts to use up old kind of garbage proteins that are sort of floating around in the body, and it's like, okay, well, we need to use that in order to keep doing what we're doing over here. So that's what happens, and it's just a way to kind of clean things up. So I'm gonna try to get into that a little bit with fast. Laura's like, just no more steaks. I'm gonna take a little break from steaks for a little while. Uh, I don't know. I could see myself having another one this coming weekend because I'm gonna go back up to Quadra Island, where my cousin's got his cabin. We're gonna try to get up another wall or two of boards up there. So that's my plan for next weekend. And while I'm up there, I'm gonna do a little bit of fishing and stuff. I hope. Yeah, it always seems like a bit of a process when I'm up there, but well, we'll see. Then after that, I got to go back over to the mainland. I've got an appointment over there with a doctor, and I might as well take care of a bunch of business over there while I'm on that side of the ocean. That'll be my first time taking a ferry back to the mainland in quite a while. That's going to be an expensive trip too. Let's see. Dog speed destinations. Hi, Joseph. Would you ever consider buying a property house on the island? I'm currently selling my mobile home with property in Lake Cowichan. I'm getting the urge to travel again to the East Coast. And you want to sell me your property? uh, yeah, I would. I for sure I'd consider that. I don't feel like I'm at that stage in my life to even consider that kind of thing right now. Like I'm just trying to manage with what I have at the moment, and that's kind of enough at the time being. But I'm not gonna like not look at that kind of thing either. But yeah, I would consider that. Um, but that's not really where like I don't know. It's not really on my mind so much these days. Like it was definitely a part of my dream earlier, where I was like, yeah, I'd love to buy a piece of land and build like multiple cabins on it and stuff so that I could have people come and go, maybe run some retreats and stuff there. Like yoga and counseling and spiritual self healing and all that sort of stuff. And then be able to do like some crazy cooking and share some really cool meals and stuff like that with maybe some harvested wild foods and that kind of thing. So um, that all really fell apart for me at one point in time, and then I never ever in my life thought I would get into van life, and then until the day came where I was kind of like, okay, um, I just need 6 feet by 2 feet horizontal place to sleep, and it occurred to me that I live in I live in a world where I have to pay for that. Like it was absurd. It was like water's free. I just turn on a tap, and I live in a country anyway where water's free, but I have to pay to sleep somewhere. And rent is at the time was for a really cheap place, it was about $1,200 a month. I think I don't even think that's possible anymore in that neighborhood. So yeah, I started looking into van life, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to do this because this is going to prevent my resources from going into otherwise a landlord's hands or somewhere else, and I'd be able to rebuild myself from there much quicker than if I were spending as much money on rent as I would have been. Um, I didn't see COVID happening. I started getting into this vehicle before COVID. I imagined I was only going to be in this van for 1 year, and then I would be out into a bigger vehicle, and I was going to be debt free by then. Like I was making decent money, and I had a good job, and things were good. COVID changed all of that. Anyway, it's all a past now, and you know, things are coming along, and life is really interesting these days. So it's all good. But yeah, properties. I haven't thought of that in a while, but I imagine like at some point down the road, um, that might be more meaningful, especially in a capacity where I could share that piece of property with more than just myself, like either with a like a family, or if not a family, then a property where you know it would have some benefit to a portion of the community in some way. So something along those lines. Um, yeah. I mean, obviously, there's a little bit of like personal space that I still need to maintain for myself, and I have that with the van. Um, and But yeah, I do think about, you know, community sides of things a little bit more these days. And I don't even know how that would even look with property and stuff like that. But anyway, if you're thinking of selling your property and getting a mobile home, or selling your mobile home with property, like getting the urge to travel again, yeah, I don't know. Do what your heart tells you to do. Like follow your heart, and you know, use your senses, and follow your heart. Can't go wrong with that. You know, you've got a toolbox that you've built up in your brain that you know you can lean into, and then follow your heart. Yeah, 325. I mean, that seems low compared to the rest of the places. So he's saying most places around there are selling for 600, and mine is for 325. Um, yeah, I don't know. I know a couple of real estate agents. If you're looking for a real estate agent, uh, yeah, I don't know what the real estate market is. It's not my. I don't. I have no idea any of that stuff. I could easily get information about it, but I don't. I don't really pay too much attention to that. Really, um, it's in a. I feel like real estate is in a whole like other paradigm from where I'm at, um, and in some ways, sometimes I view land and I view real estate as almost like a liability at the same time. I don't know if that really makes any sense, but like, I mean, to me it does. It's like there's all kinds of things going on in the environment and all that sort of stuff, and fires, and you know, people's, you know, they work so hard to put their stuff in, and you know, build a house and all that stuff, and it gets wiped out by a crazy fire or something like that. It's just terrible. Or a flood or whatever. Like, I, it's not to say something like that couldn't happen to a van. And there's really no sensibility in that thinking. I just think it's one of those things I haven't really thought through that much, and I just sort of have this like current sort of outlook on it that sort of associates with it being somewhat of a liability, and maybe that's not a very healthy way to look at it. Um, so I don't know. I don't know, but I don't know. Food for thought. Whatever it is, it's important to think about things. You know, that you know, if you're considering, it's good. I find it's good to work them out and sort of like brainstorm and stuff, and um, that can be pretty useful. Hi Ming, nice to see you in here too. Ming W Lee. Yeah. Kalani, thank you again. Simple videos are best suited for a wider audience. Maybe that's why they do so well. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting thing to consider. Yeah. I also think like going back on like the content that I've been doing, I think part of it is so earlier in the live stream, guys, I was some of you guys are just tuning in, but I was talking about my like what videos do well and what videos don't do well and stuff, and as well as like the psychology going on in my own brain about what I'm doing with all of this exactly. But I was kind of like, what do you guys want to see more of, and that sort of thing. I could do more simple videos and stuff. I also have this like thought in my head about like, what the heck is YouTube trying to work out with my channel? Because I've got fishing and I've got hunting. I haven't really done the foraging thing. I've thrown out some sewing videos, which are totally side random to the van life. And it seems like when I look at my audience, I've got like, I imagine most of the audience is van life. And that's what it looks like to me when I look in the analytics. And so then I go, okay, well, when I do a sewing video, it's like, okay, yeah, I make my own. I want to share it because I make my own t-shirts and stuff, and figure I might as well do some how-to videos at the same time. But that's not super relevant to van life. So those videos didn't do good. The hunting doesn't do very good at all. I got to show that in an entirely different way if I'm going to carry on sharing that kind of stuff on the channel. Maybe do it from a past tense perspective, just to take the anxiety out of it, because I think I make a lot of people feel anxious with that kind of stuff, and I really don't want to do that. Like most of the channel is pretty relaxed and easygoing, and I want to try to keep that going in that way, because it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of me, and it's kind of what I want to share mostly. So yeah, and then yeah, wilderness videos, like going out, as Music Junkie was saying, your videos are my escape to the wilderness. I do want to share more wilderness stuff, but it's you know, those trips, when I go out to those places, they cost me a significant amount of money, and I'm just not, you know, I don't have the revenue that's coming in order to support me doing that as much as I want to do that. And so I've been really like wrestling with that one a lot this winter, because this has been a very, very lean time for me. And I feel like in order to really step back and honor myself in all of this, I go, I really just, you know, as much as I hate doing it, like I almost need to stay put and figure out how to be more creative by not moving around and doing as much of that sort of stuff for a little while at least. Just until I get a little bit more of a better footing on things. And of course, you know, there's this like fear in the back of my head that thinks like, oh, if I do that, I'm going to lose my audience. And then by the time I get around to actually doing that sort of stuff, I won't have the resources to do it there after all. I don't know. It's just a crapshoot of, I think a lot. Sometimes way more than it serves me. But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's just crapshoot, and you just got to go with it. But right now, like, I feel like it's easy, like it's easy for me to not travel as much and go to the gym, take care of my body, do some fitness, eat well, read, do some research, do all these things that are really good for me, that are going to help me build up my reserves for myself. And I guess really that's what I ought to be doing right now, and figuring out how to share some of that stuff with you guys, so that we can still keep things real. And then from time to time, like, put a crab trap out there, you know, and get the camera under the water. So yeah, I don't know. Eventually there'll be more wild stuff, but I just got to be real with myself right now at the same time. Do a few more videos on finding Bigfoot. That would definitely be interesting. Yeah, that you know, that would draw in like a whole other audience too if I did that, because yeah, that would totally bring in a whole other group of people onto the channel. I don't know. I've joked about Bigfoot on the channel a fair bit. I like doing that, but I've never seen Sasquatch or Bigfoot. I've seen like some crazy shooting stars, which you could say was unidentified flying object, because it's like, well, what was that exactly? I don't know. It was unidentified. Right? Someone could throw a friggin' ball of paper and it would fly over and I'd be like, what was that? I don't know. It was a UFO. Yeah, you're right. It was. Definition of unidentified flying object. Yeah. I don't know. But all that stuff's super cool. Um, yeah. Oh, Van Gal. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Joseph, I have to be out of my house in about 2 months. My van being built out by insulating, bare minimum, working on floor currently. Got ideas from others. Your thoughts? Um, 2 months. Um, if you've got like one of those little portable battery deals, those can be pretty handy to have, I would say. You don't need much, but if it's you know 200-300 watts or 400-500 watts, that's great. There's so many of those things that are on the market. There's some good ones out there. I've been trying to do a little bit of research into them lately, and I got a few of them like knocking on my door. You know, wanting to do like some video promotional stuff on my channel, and I'm kind of going, oh, maybe. I mean, we all know a certain somebody that has a sponsorship that a lot of people are tired of seeing that kind of content on. But so I'm reluctant to do that stuff. But at the same time, I feel like, well, it'd be good to do that. But anyway, getting back to your question, Ovangel, is like a little power unit like that is really helpful. Um, if you can get yourself a heater and run that too, that would be really good, depending on where you are. But like, if you're in the West Coast, like BC, where I'm in, like having a heater, I don't recommend you spend any money on those propane ones. Just get yourself a good diesel heater. Uh, I wouldn't I can't really recommend the cheaper ones that a lot of people buy. They're just manufactured all over the place, and I don't know, I have some resistance towards that. The one I have, I love. It's great. I would definitely recommend it. That one's by Plenar. It's about $1,000 Canadian. It's a chunk of money, but it's like that's your heating system for your house. It's a rock star, and it's a game changer, really. And when I first started using it, I was able to run it off of my little, at the time I had a little Jackery unit, and I was able to run it off of that. It had like one of those, what I had to do is it had like a little 12-volt thing that you plug into it, so it'd run off the 12-volt. And when you pull this apart, there's a little glass tube fuse in there. I had to change that out and make these wires bigger and make sure that that fuse was sized for, it had to be 10 amps so that it could actually like run. And the wires needed to be big enough for 10 amps, and they were. But it ran off of that unit just fine. Then you have to plug it in. The only thing about that little thing I had is it took friggin' all day for that Jackery thing to charge up again, and it was as great as it was. It was like, it was a pain to try and charge it. And in the beginning, when I was doing all this, like, that's what I had. I had to go into a coffee shop and sit there and drink a cup of coffee or two, work on my computer, and have that thing plugged into the wall, and ask them if that was okay and that sort of thing. Yeah. And then if you're going to be in your van, like, another thing is just, attitude is everything. I would say just try to be a guest wherever you go. Realize that you're going to be living in other people's communities. And I really try to view myself as being a guest and respect all the places that I visit. Respect the parking bylaw signs, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, just, I don't know, try to be polite, and just at the same time be humble and realize like you're living in a van and you might have some strange looks. Eventually you get over those, and you just start to be true with yourself, and you're like, you know what, this is the best thing for me right now. I made this decision and I feel good about it. Like, as long as that's in alignment with you, just go back there if you're ever in those moments of doubt, and just, kind of go, yeah, no, this is the right choice, or whatever. Like, you'll know what the right choice is. So just hone in on that, and you'll be good to go. But yeah, there's you're gonna go through some development, and that's part of the process of van life, is growing through the changes and accumulating a little bit of technology here and there to make things more comfortable. So, but of course, a bed too. So yeah, hopefully that helps. You can start off with a little cooler. You can put some ice in it. There's all kinds of ways you can do things without spending a lot of money up front when you're first getting into van life, and then as you go, you can be like, okay, I can get an electrical system now, and those can be expensive, like really expensive. So, but compared to a house, like a fridge, my fridge was $1,200. It's a pretty expensive fridge. It's been going good. I bought it because it dimensionally fit into my van build. Nothing else did. This one did, and that's why I bought it. So it's custom built into place. But I was like, okay, well, that's about as much as a fridge costs for a regular home. And this thing is the size of a cooler. Like, it was like, that sucks. It's really expensive. But at the same time, I'm like, this is my house. And that fridge is I'm going to take care of that fridge. And it's been great. It's been working, it's on 3.5 years now that I've been using it. And I just did some maintenance on it the other day. And it's, yeah, I mean, it's going. You've got to take care of your equipment. And then the electrical stuff is like, building that out can be pretty expensive as well. I would suggest building it all out. Like, bad things can happen to any vehicle on the road. So try not to get too invested in the vehicle. Be comfortable. Like, I'm super invested in this thing, which bothers me sometimes. I'm a pretty good driver, but something could happen. I could have a short. One of these little things I have in my van, like, I don't know, like a battery pack or something like that. It could just one day explode with me not, like, it just catch fire all on its own, a little thing like that. Or maybe these little Apple AirPod deals, I don't know, like, something could happen and then that's it, it's over. In that case, everything's gone, and I don't really have a plan B for that, but I don't know. I'm getting down a rabbit hole of all that sort of stuff, but what I really wanted to say was, like, an electrical system you can build it and take it out and put it into another vehicle if something bad were to happen to your vehicle. So, anyway, if something bad happened to this, I would strip everything out of it that I could, and I would put it into another vehicle for sure. Anyways, I hope that helps, Ovangel. I'm going to try to do some more videos and stuff on that sort of thing, and cover some more van life stuff. I'm going to kind of feel that one out a little bit and sort of see how those videos do on the channel. But I feel like there's maybe some information around this side of things that I could probably share. T-Bone, thank you, man. Cheers, brother. Thanks for the great content. Thank you so much, T-Bone. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I love all the support you guys have been. Super grateful for all of this, and it's really definitely helped me out, and I really like the connections that I've made with some of you guys. And I know I haven't been in my comments as much as I have in the past. I've been feeling like I like this way of interacting with you because it's in the moment and it's live, and we can kind of go back and forth a little bit in a sense. And the comments are fine too, but there's a little bit more of a time lag with that, and I can spend hours in that, and I really sometimes feel like I should be spending this time editing a video so that I can put out more content too. So it's a little bit of a wrestle that way. Plus, there's a whole psychological component to the comments too. Negative comments can be, impactful in their own way. Usually for me, that, like, I'm so glad I've got these tools that I have, but like a negative comment comes up, and if it triggers me, I'm kind of like, okay, what is it in me that is bothered by this? And then I kind of go down this like thing of thinking about what kind of limiting belief do I have about myself that makes that particular one sort of stand out and make me feel not so good or something like that. And so it usually promotes a sense of awareness and an investigation on myself. which has been useful. At the beginning, some of those things I didn't know how to deal with them, and it was really emotional and difficult, and I could see that being really challenging for just about anybody. And then the good comments are great, but then I don't want to get into this like behavior where I'm putting out videos so that I can read the comments and feel good about myself and have this weird relationship where I'm kind of like, how to explain that? Like trying to lean into them in sort of an unhealthy way, you know? Like I don't want to lean into you guys in that sense. It's not healthy for me. So if I got like lots of praise and all that sort of stuff, which I do get, I don't want to like feel like I need to put out videos so that I have that so that I feel good about myself. I don't want to like I need to be aware of that that's not a reason behind any of this sort of stuff. And yeah, that's also another reason why I don't really spend maybe as much time as I used to in them. But I'm definitely like cruising through them sometimes and getting in there. But I like doing this more. Anyway, I'd talk more, a whole lot more on that whole subject too. I also need to like think that one through a little bit more myself too. But yeah, social media, it's interesting. GF, I think you have to be more funny in the vids. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. No insult. Totally know what you have to say in a sense. There's definitely a seriousness that comes out of me. Like I feel pretty relaxed like this, and I've been lucky that a lot of my live streams I've been pretty relaxed with. And I look back on some of them a little bit, but not really. Uh, so I don't know. But yeah, there's something relaxing about a live stream in a sense, for whatever reason. And there's a seriousness that sometimes comes across in a lot of my video content, and that's sometimes is because my particular mood in that day is like I'm sensitive and I'm affected by a bunch of other things, and I'm feeling the weight of all this shit that's just happening right now in the world that's I don't like talking about, but like I feel all that crap, and it's just like, and I feel this shit in my own little tiny universe too, and I'm just like, holy fuck, like, and I'm just like, there's kind of a little undertone of worry that's there, and I see that in myself when I film some of my content, and I go, yeah, I can see that. Maybe you guys can kind of pull that out of there too. And yeah, I don't know. Try to be more funny in the vids. I'm going to try to be myself too. Like the bottom line is I have to be myself, but maybe a little bit more relaxed I think would probably help, and I'd probably bring out a little bit more of the fun side of myself that way. I don't know, hopefully I don't know if that really touches on what you said. No, I wasn't offended by that. I think I understand what you were saying there. Chasing geckos. Sorry, I just woke from my nap in Ontario. It's nighttime in Ontario, isn't it? It's like bedtime. It's a good name, by the way, especially with a question when you're like, when am I heading to Bali? My favorite place. I think they have a tokay gecko over there. They sent me a photograph of one of the geckos that they saw, and they're like, oh, check this guy out. It's like really big. And I'm like, oh, don't mess with that guy too much. He's going to have a mean bite. And they're like, oh, tokay gecko. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. They got tokay geckos over in Bali. And I'm like, that'll be really fun to see those. I never had a pet tokay gecko, but I worked in a pet store in the fish and reptile department, and so I got to mess around with a bunch of those things. I had a pet water dragon, so I know what that is, and I think they have those over in that area too. I'm not sure if they have them in Bali, but interesting. It's a maze. getting over there is a little bit of a maze. I'm trying to go as quickly as I can, but there's a lot of logistics to sort out, and it's a very convoluted process for the time being. I know some people are just jumping on a plane and they're getting over there and they're doing it, and it's fine. But I don't know. Like I just got to take it one step at a time for my own process and going over there. It's like literally like the top of my priority. So like every time I'm like, okay, what can I do today that's going to help me move a little bit closer to that okay, let's take care of this and do that. So some days I can't do anything, so I'm just like, okay, I might as well do something else. So well, it'll come, the time will come, and I can't wait. And I'm scared at the same time. I'm scared of going at the same time. I just I can't wait to go see my daughter. I'm afraid if I go over there, I'm just like I imagine I'm like, how am I ever gonna like come back? Like how can I go see her and then leave to come back? And I can't go there and stay there forever. I need to go there and visit and then come back, because I have no idea what it's like to live over there. I don't know like it's totally foreign to me. So like I got to be sensible about everything too and just go check it out and hang out. But I love my girl, man. I really do. And yeah, I really can't imagine having to say goodbye to her again. Like I don't want to. Yeah, I love her chats though. They're really good, and it'll be fun to hang out with her and watch some Puff and Rock together again. We were watching Puff and Rock the other day, and we used to do that in the van a long time ago, and that was kind of fun. Sometimes we did that on rainy days. Anyway, good times. Yeah. Yeah, I got a passport. I already got that. Yeah. Oh yeah, a beach. Komodo dragons in Indo. Yeah, I know. Man, those things are like crazy. I know. I've seen a few pictures, but I don't know if I'll see some when I go over there. That'd be really cool. Yeah, there's some interesting foods too, like interesting fruit and stuff. I'm really interested in like some of the plants and stuff that are growing over there. Although I've heard from some people that it is as beautiful as the place it is, there's not a lot of diversity in some of the stuff that is growing over there. And there's pretty interesting like flora and fauna, plants and soil chemistry, and a lot of apparently really poor waste treatment systems that are there. So there's a lot of that's in the soil. Yeah, we'll see. Aaron, the DJ, just come back to Calgary. It's way easier. Oh, that's the first comment I'm seeing from you. Oh, you're saying Jeffy Bear. Are you talking to Jeffy Bear? No. Maybe you are. Have I met you before, Aaron, the DJ? I did live in Calgary before, so I don't know. Maybe I have. I know I got quite a few friends there that I kind of lost touch with and haven't really kept in touch with, I should say. But yeah. Oh, thanks, Insanity. Insanity just posted my Patreon. Yeah, you guys, if you want to support me a little bit more, you can sign up for my Patreon. So I'll just talk about that a little bit. Basically, it's a separate application. It's a different platform than YouTube. You can download the app on your phone. It's usually the best way of doing it. And then you can sign up to the Patreon at that point. And it's you can pay an annual subscription, which is probably the easiest way to do it because it's a little bit cheaper. And you just pay it at once. And then what you get out of that is you're that money helps me out. It basically just helps pay for everything. It puts fuel in my tank and all that sort of thing, and it helps me to do more videos. So it's good that way. And then I share posts and pictures and things that I'm doing that are more like right now, kind of like in line with what I'm doing today and yesterday. So you're more up to speed with where I'm at in the present moment. And sometimes I share stuff on there that I just don't share on YouTube. So it's kind of a nice little thing. And at the same time, like I bounce a little bit more ideas off of my Patreon community. And yeah, a little bit. I would say I'm almost like I hate to say it, but I'm almost a little bit more honest in my Patreon group than I am on YouTube. But that's I think that's just because there's like a tighter knit of community over there, and there's a lot of love that's there. It's not to say that there's not a lot of love on YouTube and stuff, but it's I don't know. It's just a little bit different. I would say those are the people that have like they're like I like this guy's channel so much that I want to be a part of it a bit more. I want to support him, and then it's almost like they're maybe a little bit more closer and invested into me on a relationship level, I suppose. But it's not to say that if you aren't a part of that, that you wouldn't be that way yourself. It's just like I know sometimes, especially nowadays with the price of a lot of things, it's pretty hard to stretch and do that sort of stuff. But yeah, Patreon's cool. I'm on Patreon and I support 5 other YouTubers myself on Patreon. So I basically my donations are $5 a month for those guys. So I spend $25 a month on supporting other YouTubers on their Patreon. And then I have my own. So anyway, that's that. That's Patreon. It's a fun little thing, and it feels good. Like I like supporting the guys that make that are out there doing stuff and sharing some cool content and stuff like that. And it's fun to see and be up to speed on where they're at and what's going on in their world at the same time. All right. Let's see. Max RX. I'm Calgary born and raised. Yeehaw. Oh, right on. Calgary was an amazing place. Like my like I made so many amazing friends there, and the people there were like just really um, I don't know. I made some really good friendships in Calgary. It was really good, and a lot of people there were pretty passionate about what they were doing. And there's a different vibe out on the West Coast for sure. Like I find people are still sort of passionate about what they're doing, but there's less of this like really like kind of like close bond stuff. I'd say out here there's that's my experience of it. I realize there obviously is some really tight bonds and really cool connections that are going on out here that I just haven't experienced maybe to the same extent, but I experienced a fair bit of that in Calgary. It was pretty nice. um, yeah, thanks, Vango. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I've had people come and go on Patreon too, and sometimes they're like, Joseph, I'm sorry, I love supporting you. I have to go. I have to deal with some stuff, and I need to pull back on some of my subscriptions and all that sort of stuff. And I totally get that. I just try to send them off with a big heart and say, you got to take care of yourself first and really look after yourself. And I don't want to pull anybody over there that's like struggling or anything like that. Like look after yourself, always, and your family and all that sort of stuff. And like just the fact that you're watching my channel is like that's amazing, and I love that, and that we're interacting like this is great. So You don't need to be like a part of any of that other stuff, like Patreon or anything like that. It's cool, but it's like it's not. Don't feel like it. You got to be there. Look after yourself for sure. Um, yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. What else could we talk about? There's 240 of you almost in here. That's quite a number. We started off with like 100 and something, and now we got a fair bit. I could have a little bit more of my yogurt. I could also wait. Okay, I'll give you a minute to think about some questions. I don't know, see if I can put you on. Oh, what's this button do? Cool. We got like these different filters and stuff. How about that one? I'm looking for a mute button. There we go. That's pretty good. Some bubbles. Fun. I'm looking for a mute button. I gotta pee, you guys. So I'm just oh, here we go. Mute microphone. Hang on. Can you hear me again? Yeah. La la la. Can you hear me again? I'm not sure. Yeah, you can. Okay, good. There we go. That had a nice color to it. I'm still hydrated, so that's good. Anyway, let's go back to the normal screen here. There we go. There we go. Any of you guys have any questions? Is there anything like that you particularly maybe working through that you want to see more of? Jeffy Bear, hey buddy. You still in here, dude? It's good to see you, man. How's it going? What's shaking tonight? Aaron Malone, why a pee bottle? Okay. I don't know. It's a bottle. It's got a lid on it. It seals. It holds it. And yeah, I'm just you're inside a van. You got to go pee. You don't have to open up the door and wander off into some forest somewhere and look for a place where you can do it. It's just practical to have something like that in a van. So there you go. Sometimes that pee bottle isn't big enough either. Sometimes I need a little bit more than that. So there's been a few times where I've had to improvise a little bit and fill up a coffee cup or something. Yeah. So that's it. That pee bottle. Yeah. What about poo? So poo is pretty well dealt with too. If I poo in the van, I use my garbage can, and I've got composting bags that I line the garbage can in, and it's pretty much just the same thing as dog poo in a sense. But it's my poo. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got a system for having to deal with that inside the van, and eventually that's something that comes up, and you're like, okay, but it's happening right now. So it was weird at first. Oh man, like the first time I did it, I don't even remember, but I was so excited. I was just like, oh my God, that was so easy. I was just like, okay, I was feeling a little anxious about it, and I'm like, that's really not bad at all. I'm like, okay, and then after a while, I was like, okay, it's second nature. It's just like, gotta go. Okay, gotta go. There's times when, like, I got my privacy things up right now, obviously, and my curtains drawn up in the front. But there's times, where I'm just showing you, there's times in the daytime when I'm like in a public area and I'm just like, oh shit, like, this is happening right now. So boom, put the privacy things up, do my business. And then it's like, okay, all that stuff can come down. I'm decent again. And, the last thing I want is somebody walking by. Oh, that's an interesting looking vehicle. Oh, shit. Didn't mean to see that. What are you doing in there? So obviously I don't want an interaction like that. But yeah, my van is sitting below eye level and most people are looking down when they're walking. And so they look down and into my van. I'm always in sight when I don't have my things up. So everybody can see what I'm doing in my van. Last night I was cooking dinner. I was in Victoria and I was cooking dinner in the van and people were walking by and it felt a little bit awkward because it was dark and I couldn't see outside very well. And I had my phone on and I was having a call with my daughter and she's like, Dad, can you have the lights on so I can see you? I'm like, yeah, of course. And so I'm just like making dinner in the van and I wasn't in a place where I put up that stuff and I wasn't going to stay there. I just kind of pulled over and I was doing that and people were walking by looking. Some people were smiling, other people were like, what's happening, in there. And just, you get used to the people looking at you when you're in a van if you've got windows and they can see in. So I'm just like, it's all good. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, we went to talking about that, Pee and Poo, Stuart. You betcha. Yes, I do. Well, I mean, I don't have a sink in here and soap and stuff. I've got baby wipes and a hand sanitizer, which is I think it's a 80% or 70% alcohol solution. So I use that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if it's in the middle of the night and I'm just like, oh, I'm waking up and have to kind of crawl to the end of my bed and go pee and then go back to bed, I'm just gonna go pee and go to bed. If I'm like gonna go pee and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go out and socialize with people, obviously I'm gonna clean my hands and all that sort of stuff. And yeah. And I would hope that somebody else would do the same for me, but not everybody is like that, I've learned, and that's all good. There's many times where I go into a public bathroom and it's gross, man. I see a lot of dudes that are going in there and they do their thing and they walk out and there's no hand washing whatsoever, even after everything we've been through in the last couple of years. It's just whatever. It's like, okay, live in the wild world. You know what? And it's kind of like we make a big fuss out of it, but it's like some of that stuff is actually beneficial for everybody's immune systems and gut floras and all that good stuff too, even. Anyway. GF, how much does YouTube take on a donation? YouTube generally withholds 30% on all things, like super chats. There's like another way you can send money, and that's like hitting the thanks button under a video. That's another way. YouTube takes 30% of that too. So it's just what they do. Compared to like some of the other services out there, it seems high for sure. But they kind of set the bar, and that's what it is. And it's like, okay, well, fair enough. They need to pay for obviously the infrastructure to be able to like have all that within the same platform and do all that sort of stuff. So I think there's definitely some fairness that's there. It feels like maybe it's a little bit higher than what it could be, but it is what it is. So I don't know if they're transparent about why they keep 30% and what that actually covers on their end. I haven't looked into it, honestly, so maybe I ought to. But I'm not sure if if they share that publicly. I don't know. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Oh, Robert Shields. Thank you, buddy. Um. Consider being with your daughter. Thanks, man. Um. No, she's on my mind every day, man, and can't wait to see her. Amanda Juarez. Yeah, if you want PO box. I haven't shared this out too much, but I'll share it. I'll just put it in there. So if you want to send me something, you can do that way. Um, I'm just typing it out for you guys. Um, there you go. I just put that in the chat. So, yeah, guys, if you wanted to send me something, you could send me something that way. But if it's like a material thing, like totally like I'm pretty good with material things. I spend so little money on material things. There's a couple things that I think that maybe I could buy, but there's a lot that I don't really need. So, yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Linda Gorth, you're asking how much do I clear on the $5 a month Patreon subscription? There, I see a lot more of that money. I think Patreon keeps 8% of that total by comparison. There's a little bit extra that they take out for a credit card billing and stuff, but it's very small. So generally it's about 8%, and I think that other percent part is kind of different depending on the country that the Patreon supporters in. So it sort of depends like that, but I definitely see more from that sort of thing for sure. Thank you, Esoteric Books, who's also on my Patreon. Appreciate that. Thanks so much, man. That's great. Or maybe you're a woman. I'm trying to think about my use of man. I say man a lot. Just sometimes I just say, "Hey, dude, yo, man, hey, man," and I just say it all the time. And I've been a little bit more self conscious of that. Bloke, there you go. That's good. Love it. Renee, did I do a lot of cooking before I moved into my van? I did a ton of cooking before I moved into my van. I was gonna have some more yogurt actually, because I bought this and I figure I'm gonna finish up the whole liter of it tonight. We're not getting fancy anymore. I'll just eat it out of here. Yeah, Insanity, call me dude all the time. Yeah, that's great. I feel like dude is universal. Anybody could be called dude. Doesn't mean anybody wants to be called dude. But yeah, I did a lot of cooking before moving into a van. Really love cooking. That part's quite nice. Yeah, I mean, like I've made a couple really cool meals the last little while. I didn't film, but I got a couple coming out. So I think this next video that I'm working on, I finished it off. I've got 2 videos that I'm behind on that I need to edit out. Both of them are going to be van related videos. And they both finish off with cooking in the van. But I have a feeling they might be pretty long videos because there's a lot that goes on in them. So I'm going to try to... Sometimes I feel reserved about putting out a long video because I feel like people aren't going to watch them and click on them and stuff. And but on the other hand, some of you guys really like the longer videos too, and sometimes it's just the way it is. There's a lot of content in the video, and it's just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna put all that in there, and you know, a lot of it's useful. I try to trim them down though. Like I try to trim it down, and I go through this process while I'm editing, and I go, can I make it shorter? Can I cut something out? And like, oh, I could cut this out, but then I'm like, but then it doesn't it doesn't have the same flow to it. And so then I think about it, and then I go, maybe I'll leave it in there because I like the natural rhythm it has when that's in there. So sometimes I leave it in, but the other times I'm like, no, I'm gonna cut it, make it shorter. So anyway, that's a whole process I go through when I edit my videos. Elizabeth Lincoln, show more backcountry cooking. So I was talking about this earlier in the live stream, and I think you're probably just pulling in right now. I could definitely talk about what I'm reading, and that's something that I could get into a little bit because it's easier. But the whole backcountry stuff, I do want to do more of that, but it's it's not easy for me to go out and do that. It costs a fair bit of money, and I'm not making a tremendous amount of money. This is actually, in my whole life, this is I'm making, relative to every other time in my life, this is the moment where I've been living on the least amount of money ever. And I'm like trying to pass over this little tipping point with the channel and hoping that it can be like, okay, I'm making a money from the channel that I'm like, I can breathe, it's good, this is going somewhere. Right now it's going somewhere, but it's like I can't breathe super well, so I'm kind of like you know. And going out and filming a backcountry video where I'm out fishing and stuff, I think about, okay, well, that's maybe 1 or 2 videos. I got to drive out there, put it all together. So the fuel costs, and then getting out there and doing that. Sometimes it can be pretty expensive. Look at like $300 round trip sometimes for a video, and sometimes not. But you know, I can't just pull that off right now. I have to be careful about where I spend the money so that things can evolve in such a way where there's sustainability built into all of this for me and for the channel. So, but yeah, we're gonna get there. Some of the dilemmas I have right now is like if I go to the backcountry and there's no cell service, I don't want to be out of connection with the internet for too long because I want to be able to get it. Like I want my daughter to be able to reach me, and I also need to be connected to the internet so that I can continue to upload videos, download music, so that I can edit properly and all that sort of thing, and stay connected to various, you know, people, comments, and emails, and all that sort of stuff. So when I go back out there right now with my resources, I feel like I can only really, I max out at about 3 days, and then I'm like, I got to get a cell connection, and I got to get fuel for my heater again. So that's where things are at this point. I did explain all this really well earlier in the live stream, and I don't want to cover it again at this point because anybody that's rewatching this, I don't want it to like be like a broken record in a sense. But yeah, essentially that's part of it. I want to do more backcountry cooking videos, but that kind of stuff, I can't just go off and do it. And I've done some of those videos and they don't do super well. Some of them do well, but some don't. And yeah, Jimmy Hoffa, you're saying Starlink someday, hopefully. 100%. 100%. I definitely want to integrate that into things right now. It's going to change things quite a bit, being able to do that. And I feel the summertime is when I'll be able to capitalize on the integration of that the most. So I'm hoping that by then I have enough revenue coming in that I can be like, okay, now I can onboard that expense, and I can take this out there, you know, and do that. That would be great. It will be great. I shouldn't say would, it will be. So yeah. Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, Elizabeth, now you totally get it. So yeah. It's like, you know, you gotta get out there, you gotta bring food and all that stuff and put things together, and it's you know, it's fine. I'm gonna try and do a little bit of that where I can, where it's like you know, whenever possible. And then like I was in that spot, in that last spot that I was at was fantastic. I spent 3 days there, 3 nights there, something like that, and I just soaked it in. It was great. I had a cell service connection up there, and it was super beautiful. I feel super, super productive when I'm out in a setting like that. I was just like, I can sit in the van and get a bunch of work done, and then get out, stretch my legs, look outside, and be like, holy cow, this is amazing. This is so like inspiring and beautiful. And go for a walk and just like, I love it. So spots like that are really good. Yeah. I just saw. Yeah. Okay. So Brenda, yeah, you said, yeah, it's 2K up front and $200 a month for sure. Yeah. So I need the 2K up front to be able to buy it. Then it's $200 a month thereafter to be able to do that. So, um, and that's yeah, dog speed destinations. It is $2,000 investment for Starlink in Canada. That's how much it costs to buy it, and then it's $200 a month to operate Starlink in Canada. So that's the cost. Um, I don't want to just all of a sudden be like, okay, I got an extra $200 over what I'm making now. Let's go get Starlink. I need to be bringing in more money than that in order to be like, okay, this is good. Because right now I need to be making more money so that I feel like, you know, I can breathe a little bit better, and that's more important at the moment. But anyway, that it's all coming. Just got to give it a little bit more time. Um, I have a feeling by summertime I'll be in that position. So, and in the meantime, tell you what I am doing right now that's pretty exciting. That is, I'm starting to do my research on what my next vehicle is going to be. I'm not in that position yet, but I'm like, okay, it's time to start looking into it. And I've been sort of like navigating the pitfalls and the various things that I've been working through with my own van, and the challenges of having a minivan and a build and all the weight and the suspension and all that sort of stuff. So there's, you know, those things have been sort of racking around in my brain, and thinking about like another van build project in the future, and that's gonna come too. I don't know when, but that's gonna come. In the meantime, I'm doing tons of research, and I'm really excited because some of it's really fun. I don't want to talk about all that stuff just yet because it's just like brainstorming. It's like, okay, let's look at this and let's look at that, and let's just kind of try to organize it all myself, and then I'll be able to share all that later on. Oh, spooky, and you guys are saying I should grow my beard out. Oh my god. I had a huge beard one time. I can grow a good beard. It's gonna be white, you know, and all that stuff right now, full of gray hair and white hair. Like I got this, I think it's right here. This is all white right here. There's like white here, maybe up in here. It's starting to come in, but I can still grow a pretty big beard if I wanted to. I just find like, I don't know. It's just what was the thing? I ran into an issue with it with it just, I don't know, it got to be a lot to manage, and I was just like, just keep it short. So I like this length is good. Sometimes I like it even just clean, because then it's just easy to clean. I could grow a beard though. Maybe I'll do that at one point. That's something for me to think about. I might lose some subscribers if I grow a beard too. Dude, that's ridiculous. Well, the mustache totally did that, right? People are like, dude, shave that thing off. Well, that's fun. Good times. Leslie Hughes, you're in here. Hey, buddy. You're driving, so you're just listening. Good to see you in here, bud. Keep your eyes on the road. Nice of you to pop in and say hi. Rel Van T Traveler, how do I feel about YouTube Shorts? So that's a good question that I could talk about. Initially, I feel under like a little bit of pressure to make some YouTube short videos because it's a new side of YouTube. YouTube's really been trying to promote that a lot lately. I think what they're trying to do, and I think they're successfully winning this over, is they're trying to, like TikTok came out with all this vertical format short video clips, and that social media platform, whatever, it just went, took off. And it's I think it's a Chinese company, TikTok is. But YouTube's kind of like, oh shit, like that's really good. I think we want to do something too, and that's maybe what they're doing with YouTube Shorts. So it's that vertical footage, and you're just scrolling through videos. They can be super fun and entertaining to watch all that sort of stuff. I've spent hours doing that at times, and yeah, I've been enjoying YouTube Shorts quite a bit. In terms of making them, it's a little bit different. I'm a little bit slow around it, I suppose, because I'm used to filming in horizontal format, and I'm kind of like, do I get this clip like this, or am I going to make a short video and turn my like start filming this way for this? And when I was up at that waterfall hike, I had a moment up at the waterfalls. I'm kind of like, oh, I should take a few clips of it in vertical and maybe make a little short video about it, and I did that. So, and it's pretty easy to edit one of those videos up. It only takes like 10 minutes or so, and it can be pretty neat. But I don't know. It's another thing to think about, and I don't want to stress over it too much. But I'll take it on a little bit. It'll be totally interesting to see where it actually goes. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of it's pretty interesting, because I mean, if YouTube, they're kind of like trying to draw on two different audiences now, in a sense. It's like someone that's consuming short video format versus long video format. And I guess if everybody all of a sudden shifts over to just watching these quick videos, then it might take away from me filming bigger videos like I do normally. And then it could go that way, where it's just like, okay, maybe I just got to do short form videos and just do that. That's not really, and I don't really feel like that's necessarily my style. Like, because those are just like quick fix dopamine hits that are just like, oh my god, that was funny, and oh my god, that was good, and you're just flicking through them, watching them really quick. Yeah. Although I've seen some really good ones. Like, I've been watching a bunch on like fitness. Some people are like showing, okay, this is how they're doing this, and it can be a quick explanation about how to do a particular movement. And I'm like, oh, that's really nice for that. So that's inspiring. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I still have more thinking to do about that. For now, I'll just kind of put them out here and there, but yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna try not to stress over it too much either. Yeah, thanks, Insanity. Please consider hitting subscribe for sharing the wild. I'm gonna try to, like, I don't know. I should try to promote myself a little bit better. I just don't like saying that too much. Just kind of feel like I shouldn't have to. I mean, it's YouTube. I mean, everybody knows that if you want to see somebody, you should subscribe to their channel. I feel like I hear people say that and go, yeah, I on somebody else's channel, I go, yeah, I know, I don't need to hear that again from you. Like, let's, cut to the chase sometimes, depending on what I'm watching. Usually I hear it in like how-to videos and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh shoot, how do I do this on the van? And I'm like, okay, let's Google it. And I Google a YouTube video on it and I find it. And then the guy's like, please subscribe. And I was like, I just wanted the 3-minute section where you explained this, and I got it, we're good, and I'm off. So sometimes I consume YouTube content like that, but yeah. In that sense, I feel like I could do away with the whole please subscribe thing. So maybe that's where that comes from and why I don't share that so much in my videos. Anyway, let's talk about feelings. Are you happy with the and let's talk about feelings. That's not what I'm implying that we're talking about. That's the name of somebody who just left a comment in here. Their YouTube title name is called Let's Talk About Feelings. Their question is, are you happy with the engine and transmission reliability in my van? Yeah, so far, 100%. So my engine's been like, it's tired. I can tell that it's an older, tired, worked over engine. It's getting close to 300,000 kilometers. I'm at 200 uh, uh 290,000 9,570 or something. So I think I've got like 430 clicks to go before it rolls over 3,000. So it's going to happen really quick. It's still going good. I'm changing all the fluids. I'm doing everything that I can do for it. You can smell on the pipe that it smelled the same way it smelled when I first got it. It's got a little bit of this older engine smell to it. And I've had a few mechanics look at it and they're just like, it's basically, a little bit of coolant or oil or something like that that's coming into it, and it's not burning the fuel as efficiently as it was when it was probably new. So it's got a little bit of that coming out of the pipe, and it seems like it's the same as what it was when it started. My feeling is that the compression inside this particular engine is not, it's not as up as what it used to be. I have a feeling whoever had this before me, and probably multiple owners, did a lot of idling and cold starts and all kinds of different things, and maybe failed to change oil when they should have, and let things ride with bad oil in it for maybe too long. I don't know, but it's working so far for me. I bought it at 230,000 kilometers, and I haven't had an issue with my engine or transmission since. The transmission was rebuilt before I bought it, so I looked at the maintenance log, and prior to me buying it, the last owners had it all a rebuilt transmission put into the vehicle, and I haven't seen any issues with it, so we're just going with it. So yeah, that's it for my engine in here. I think it's good. Yeah. I couldn't say the same for the suspension on this van. I think the suspension components on this van are super small, flimsy. The braking system sucks on this van. There's a bunch of things like on that side of it that I don't like at all, but I'm trying to make it work, and realizing that maybe it's a little bit of a catch-22 sometimes with that stuff. I've I mean, I shouldn't say it just yet, because I haven't replaced the rear leaf springs and the front sway bar yet, even though I have those parts sitting in my shop, and they are scheduled, not necessarily scheduled, but they're going to be replaced soon. Once those are done, I will have replaced every single suspension component in the van with upgraded parts, and it still feels like it's maybe not quite enough. Feels like some things need to be beefier, maybe engineered differently so that it can really take the weight of the vehicle. The braking system could be a lot better. But it's, they built this thing as a little minivan to like take the kids to, school and stuff, and go get groceries and a few things like that, and the odd camping trip. And, it started off that way, I imagine, and then it started turning into construction vehicles and whatnot, and people started doing other things with it. I've taken it to a whole another level, which it was never designed for. And you're asking now if I've ever considered upgrading to something bigger. Yes, 100%. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I'm doing a bunch of research at the moment, trying to see perhaps what direction I'm going to go in. Yeah. I just want to get myself into a position so that basically it's like, okay, I've got the money and I've got the resources, and the time is now, and it's time to get a new vehicle, and I'll be like, I know exactly what I want, and that, Like I want to be in that position where it's like, that's where I'm going. That's what I'm going to get. That's what I'm going to do. So we're getting there. Meantime, it's a lot of fun figuring that out. Yeah, Jeffy Bear, my van is not overweight. It's basically just below, like it's about, I don't know, I think it's like 50 kilos or something like that below the normal, like, or the maximum curb weight of the vehicle. But there's been one occasion where I've had a bunch of stuff in the van at one particular time, and I scaled it at that time, and it was just over. But I was loaded down with a lot of extra things at that point. But for the most part, it's still under the max. But it's riding around at pretty much the max. I don't recommend this vehicle for van life. Like, I mean, if you're gonna get one, fine, it's good, but it's, it's, don't put a huge build into it. Try to build it as light as you can. Certainly don't do what I did. I wouldn't recommend that. So my next vehicle, when I build it out, I'm going to be definitely much more weight conscious of it. Not for a fuel economy perspective, although that'll certainly help, but more so for all the extra weight that it puts on all the other components, because all that stress is going somewhere. And so you're going to wear out your brakes faster, you're wearing out your suspension faster, all that stuff. So weight conscious for that. Elizabeth, do I worry about getting stuck when I'm in the backcountry? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I've kind of racked it through, like, if I'm stuck and I'm on a flat surface, okay, I'm here for a little while. Like, I know, like, I'll probably be good for, like, a few days, or certainly longer than that. I could be out there for a whole winter and get by just fine. Might not be the most comfortable thing, but I'm pretty sure I could make do. I wouldn't want to though, but yeah, that'd be awful. Really, that wouldn't be a fun experience. But I could probably manage for quite a long time. But if the van goes like off the side of a road and it's like on this steep weird angle and I can't move it and it's totally stuck and I'm in that kind of position, that's going to be a totally different scenario. Like, I can't really sleep in it as effectively. Everything's going to be everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to talk about that too much because I don't want to manifest something like that. But yeah, I did buy this van. It made total sense to buy this particular van at the time I bought it. Nowadays, I could definitely be in something different, but when I got this van, it was perfect. Aaron, the DJ is asking what my ideal vehicle is for my next build. I don't know yet. So I've been, one of the things that I've been thinking of a lot when it comes to that is, does it need to be stealth vehicle or all that kind of stuff? I don't think so anymore. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. What I realized is, like, I really would rather, like, if I had Starlink, for example, and I had a fridge and a freezer combined, like I could carry a little bit more food with me, I'd want to be out in the backcountry almost all the time. And I would just drive into the cities, get some stuff, and whip back out there because it's peaceful, it's quiet, I'm in nature. It's like, I love it out there. It's so awesome. Like, that's where I'd want to spend most of my time. And I feel at that point it doesn't matter to have a small stealth vehicle. It could be like a great big rig. My ideal vehicle, if money was no option and I could have anything I want at this point in time and I didn't have to care about finances, I would be like, I'd like a Unimog, because that's a super capable, awesome off-road vehicle. Build a big house on the back of that thing, just drive that thing up into the bush and just be like, we're good now, and see a road and be like, yeah, let's go down that one, you know, like that would be awesome. um I don't know, maybe one day that might happen, you never know. But I don't even know what those things cost, but you know what they cost, all that sort of stuff. But like, I know they cost a lot. The engineering under around some of that stuff is just amazing. But it's like in a Unimog, it'd be like if I'm out somewhere, I'm in the middle of the bush, and I'm like, oh shit, there's this huge forest fire coming. The road I came in on is totally screwed. But there's that river over there that I could drive into the middle of and just sit there and wait as the fire blew over. Like, okay, yeah, do that with a Unimog, no problem. Be like, it drive through 1.5 meters of water. 1.5 meters. It's like, okay. If there's a boulder on the road that's 0.5 meter tall, it'll drive over it and it won't touch anything and just over the top. So that kind of thing's like, oh, that's cool. And you could put a big container on the back of it that would be like a, you know, this huge house. So if money was no option, I'd say, yeah, I'd go that direction. uh, so I don't know. That's been intriguing to me, but yeah, looking at other vehicles right now, I've been thinking about. I've been looking lately, like the last few days, I've been looking at cab over trucks, where you see there's like Isuzu, well, there's a couple brands out there. The GMC even has one. There's Fuso. There's Hino. And it's basically like a truck body that sits over top of the front axle. Here's the front wheel, and you know the window's facing this way. The driver's like out over top and looks straight down at the road, and then behind him is the whole truck. And it's just a frame, and you would put something on the back of that would be your living space. I've been looking into those a little bit lately, thinking like, oh, maybe that's the direction that isn't quite Unimog, but it's sort of going in that direction. Um, I've been researching a little bit into that these days. That's kind of neat. So I don't know. But for a long time, I was looking at like bigger vans, like transit vans, sprinter vans, the 4x4s, all that sort of stuff. Insanity's like, time to buy a lotto ticket. Yeah. I said I was going to buy a lotto ticket, and I never did. I was like, I chat my mom again. I was like, oh, maybe I should buy that lottery ticket. And then I was like, I don't think I should buy that lottery ticket either. Talked myself out of it. I was like, it's going to be a waste of money. Anyway. But yeah, Unimog would be pretty cool. Yeah, good stuff. Spooky, you're saying, when I started van life, did I already have my current clan? No. Well, I knew Chrome when I started van life. So Van City Van Life, Chrome Valdez. Uh, you know, I mean, Chrome was pretty much like, it was a long time ago, but I was on Google and I'm like, all I need is a 6 feet by 2 foot horizontal place to sleep on. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm gonna do a little bit of research into van life. And I didn't like I just I didn't see van life in a really good light before. But I was like, I was kind of desperate, and I was thinking, well, I gotta I gotta I gotta find a solution to my current problem. And really I realized like I'm paying quite a bit of money just to find that 6 foot by 2 foot space of horizontal place to sleep. Like, you know, it's like I can brush my teeth standing up, I can do cooking standing up. There's a lot of things I can do, but it's like really what I'm paying for is that place to sleep at night. And so I started Googling van life, and I came by Chrome Valdez and Van City Van Life, and he was doing how to build a stealth van in like a day or something like that. I think that was the first video of his that I watched, and I was kind of like, okay. And then he's like, how do you go to the bathroom? You shit in a bucket, you pee in a bottle, like, do laundry at a laundromat. what about this and what about that? Like there's a lot of practical information that he covered right up front. And then I was kind of like, I watched all that stuff just trying to learn and figure it out. I was like, oh, that's so nice that this guy put this stuff together. And I don't know, at that point, I just, for some reason, then I got into watching YouTube videos and started watching his content. And then I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And I got a Jeep, or I had the Jeep, and I decided I can sleep in that and try it out for a little while. And eventually I got my address, my mailing address at the same place that he has his at. And one day we crossed paths. And I was like, oh, hey, yo, and he had Cruz at that time and his little puppy dog. He had just got him. And he was, one of his videos, he was talking about bug screens. And he was giving me some stickers like, he normally does. And I said, by the way, those bug screens you want to do, if you're still looking for somebody, he said, I can make those for you. I know how to sew. And he's like, oh, and that's where we hit it off. And then we got together and he's like, well, what do you want for that? And I was like, I just want you to tell me what you're doing here to make videos like you're doing on YouTube. Like that's what I'm interested in learning. And just share a bit of information about that with me, and that's cool. So we went off to Lillooet. I made bug screens with him in like plus 35, ridiculously hot. We plugged in my sewing machines in his little jackery there, and off we did it, and drank some beers, and I made bug screens for him. And if you look back in his videos way back when, bug screens, I don't know, look it up on his channel, you'll see me in there. And that was shortly after I met him. Then yeah, I tried my Jeep out for a while, and I was still renting an apartment, and I was just like, well, I'll continue to rent the apartment, but I'm going to go see what it's like just to try to live in this Jeep for a full month without going back to that apartment. And I did it for a month, and then I was like, okay, I think I can give notice. And so I wrote my notice, and the next month I slept one night in the place that I was renting at. So essentially, I rented a place for 2 full months where I didn't stay in it, and I lived in my Jeep. And then I sold my Jeep and I bought this van, and then I started building it out. And when I bought this van is when I met Jeffy Bear, or actually, I think I met Jeff when I had the Jeep too. Actually, Jeff, if you're still in here, I think I met you when I had my Jeep, and that was down at Spanish Banks, and so I didn't really talk with Jeff that much. I just recognized his RV, and he parked down in this particular part of the beach, and I parked down there. And he had this nice mannerism about him, and he kept his big RV like really clean. He wasn't sprawled all out like some of the other RVs. Like he parked the thing nicely and all that stuff. And we got to know each other a little bit, and then I think it wasn't until Squamish. At one point, I drove up to Squamish because that's more or less where I'd started my van life. And I didn't get to know Emmy, but I saw her a lot in Squamish. And when I was staying in the Walmart parking lot, she was one vehicle that I recognized all the time. And I was just like, that's that cat lady. That's the girl with the cat. And I'd wave at her sometimes through the van and never talk to her and stuff, not even realizing that she already knew who I was just because she was watching Chrome's videos and saw me in them. And then Chrome came up and he was visiting, and then Jeffy Bear came up, and then one day we're all in Walmart parking. I'm like, they're like, who's that? And I'm like, I don't know her name, but that's the cat lady. She lives in her van with a cat. And Chrome went and said hi to her, and that was that. And then he did a van tour with her, and she'd already started her YouTube channel, and she's parked right in front of me right now. Anyway, that's pretty much it. And we started just hanging out all together just like that. And we did a bunch of stuff in Squamish, and it was just it was fun. We used to go to the pub. We would have beers and burgers, and Emmy wouldn't have burgers. She'd have her French fries or like a vegan burger or something like that, and then we'd rip up Squamish Valley, go camping somewhere or somewhere like that, and just goof off, and that's kind of where that all happened. Yeah, it was a good time, and I met Mark, the paint guy, out in Porto Cove, just south of Squamish. Um, that was kind of outside of the posse. I was just down there camping, and uh, I was just like, that was shortly after I had my YouTube channel. And this guy drove by and he said, "Hey, Joseph, watch your channel." And I was like, holy shit. It was the first moment it was the second moment that had happened. First one was a guy named Bobby, who's a painter, and he's been on a few of the videos as well. Um, and then, yeah, Mark and he frequented that campsite a fair bit, and I ended up seeing him again. So we shared a site one day, and we just jammed out. And I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And Mark was really polite. Like, he wasn't like, "Can I have your number?" And all like, I mean, I understand that, but he was just like, "I totally respect your time. Just do your thing. I just want to say hi." And that's what I suppose intrigued me, and it was just seeing that he was in a minivan too, and we just jammed out. We did some fishing together, and then eventually he was hanging out with the other guys too a little bit, and got involved with doing some touch-up paints and stuff like that. And now Mark's got Jeff's van, and he's out there building it. I haven't talked to Mark in a long time, but he's doing a job on Jeffy Bear's old van right now. So yeah, if you guys don't know Mark the paint guy, that's his name on YouTube. Go check him out. Jeffy Bear gave him his old van, and Mark's building that out now. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Chrome was definitely a catalyst in the group. He, he had he's got a charisma about him, right? He's kind of the life of the party sort of thing, and really brought that gang around quite a bit, and it was a lot of fun, shits and giggles. And it's still fun. It's still fun to get together too, and do that sort of stuff. It was, like, last weekend was pretty fun too. Chrome was totally distracted too with all the stuff that he had going on, but there's a lot of exciting stuff with what he's got going on with the ambulance and stuff, and it was pretty fun just to all chill out by the fire, have those pork chops, and Lauren just pulled out this big pile of them and started putting them on the fire. He's like, "You're gonna have one too." I was like, "Dude, I just had a chicken breast and 2 steaks. Like, I'm full." And then he was like, "This one's for you, buddy." And I was just like, "Okay." I was ready for it at that point. That was a lot one night. Anyway, yeah. So that was that camping video that I shared a little while ago. But anyway, Aaron the DJ. That's a cool story. You found Chrome. I found you all because he's a DJ, and I wanted the van carry DJ gear and search for YouTube. Found Chrome. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat, man. Well, I'm sure I'll cross paths with you at some point, Aaron. My dad lives in Calgary, and I do want to go visit him again. And I got a bunch of friends there as well. I'd probably at that point try to do a meetup in Calgary, if and when, I should say, just when I go back there. Yeah. And I think, that being said, I'm probably going to do a meetup out here on the island. I was chatting with Chrome about it. He's like, "Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing like a nice big one where we're all together and we just do like a big collaborative meetup." And I was kind of like, "Okay, maybe we should just do that then." So we've all been chatting a little bit here and there about it. But I think Chrome wants to wait a little bit, or something, because of all the stuff he's got going on too. So I don't know. We'll see. I was just down in Victoria like this morning, and I was like, I could just do a meetup down here all by myself, like right now. And I thought, I don't know, maybe I need to think about that a little bit ahead of time, because it was just a spur of the moment thought. I didn't want to act on it, but I might just do one of my own, at some point. we'll see. But I'm leaning towards doing that kind of thing. Pagoda rolls. That's cool. This video just outlasted my battery on my phone. That's awesome. Period. Back getting a charger. That's sweet, dude. That's pretty neat. Well, when I started this thing off, my phone, my other phone died, and my phone was connected to it, and it died. But that's pretty neat. Yeah, 236 people watching, man. That's quite something. Hey, everybody out there who's not in the comments, just how you doing? I don't know if you're driving or just listening or doing that, but yeah, it's pretty cool to hang out, and thanks for tuning in. Yeah, are we coming up on 2 hours? Maybe, I don't know, you got me thinking about maybe I should wrap this up now. I finished my yogurt. I don't know. I gotta edit a video. Oh, Coach Rob Willie, I'm in the Esquimalt area. That's where I was. I slept in Esquimalt last night. Found a neat little spot, actually. It was really quiet. I had a good night's sleep last night. Yeah. And I was down in that area because that was where Nick and Michaela live. They're the ones that I built that Sprinter van out with. So I had coffee with Nick this morning. He and I have been kind of reconnecting a little bit lately and just catching up. I didn't see his van, but apparently he got all the shower thing completed in it, and he had another guy building out that whole shower for him. So apparently that's all done, and he's taken his van out already on a couple hunting trips. He was sharing some stories about that. So that was kind of neat. Yeah. But yeah, then I was just like, there's a little bit of business that I'm trying to do down in Victoria. There's a shop called West Shore Spring and 4x4. It's in Langford. I want to chat with them about my rear leaf springs. They're not open. I wasn't able to connect, and I just didn't want to hang out down there for like 2 days because I needed to be back here for Monday. And I think John and I are going to be doing a little bit of work together in the next couple days. So the shop space that I've got, if you guys are watching right now, so this is just news, but the shop space that I've been renting over there at J5 Custom Vans for now has just mostly been a storage space for me. We've been building, I've helped John out a little bit by building out some of the stuff down with him on his big shop, and I kind of realized he, even though it was a bigger shop and he was moving everything in it, I could see he needed a little bit of wiggle room. He needed to keep storing stuff in the space that we had talked about renting out to me. And I said, let's just keep doing that. I'll pay a lower rent on it for now. And then later on we can talk about doing it when it's more convenient for you. I said, there's no rush. I can be flexible, but I did say it would be cool for me if I could have the space fully by springtime, because at that point I want to be able to do some wild food crafting, and I think that would be a good kind of home base to be able to do some of that stuff there. So that's some stuff that I'm hoping to get into on the channel with you guys, and I hope some of you guys are interested enough to see that kind of content. But yeah, part of what I have in mind is some of the wild food foraging is some of those things I'll be putting away, drying out, putting in jars, trying to build up a little bit of a surplus of that stuff so that it can carry me over into the winter months for next year. So there's a bit of a wild food crafting prep that I like to do and build upon. I've done it a little bit in the past, and I feel like it's something that I could really do a lot more of, and this time actually share that with you guys. So I think the space is going to be quite useful for that sort of thing. So yeah, anyway, this weekend, John is ready to move some of that stuff out of that space, and he just needs my help. So we're waiting for a fair weather day to be able to go and do all that stuff, which is exciting, because then I'm going to be putting paint on the walls in there. and setting the space up. It'd be pretty neat. Um, super awesome. Carol Danvers, my favorite wild food. Um, I don't know, like I'd break it down. Uh, I mean, there's so much that's so good in the plant kingdom. I don't know. There's like I like the diversity of it. I like the seasons of it. There's so many different things, but there's so much good stuff. In the like early spring, there's already I'm just starting to see very tiny little plants of it, but chickweed is starting to grow right now, which means bittercress is also growing. It's just germinating at this point. And there's going to be, there's going to be a bunch of things coming in after this. But all that stuff is going to be the early ones. So the bittercress and the chickweed, it's going to be early harvest foods. You can't do a whole lot with them except kind of like pick them and sort of eat them and put them in your salads and stuff. They're not an easy thing to like amass a great deal of. So they're just kind of like little finger food kind of thing. But it's fun because those are the first crispy greens that come up. And then as time goes on, it starts to get into more of the other stuff. And then you can get into some surplus stuff where stinging nettles, you can go harvest a whole bunch of them, dry them all out, put them in a container like I did. And like I had 2 of these things full of dried out stinging nettles. And so I'd just take a spoon of this and I'd put it into my yogurt, which I had earlier. And, that's a way. And this stuff, I just, oh, that's turmeric, but I have another one in there with stinging nettles. But yeah, so just a little surplus of that sort of stuff. Berries, there's a huge blackberry like thing out here on the island on the west coast. I definitely want to get a bunch of those. It's nice to put them in the freezer, dry them out, use them in different ingredients and salads and all that sort of stuff over the course of the winter. I realize, berries maybe not all winter, but like at least for part of the early season would be good to stretch it out a little bit into the winter, perhaps. But once we're in the like middle of winter, it's like then I'm going to be eating mostly meat, ideally like wild game meat. And maybe some other vegetables like squash or bigger vegetables, or maybe even some what do you call those, sunchokes, if I find that, burdock root, dandelion root, things like that I can put away. So we'll see. It'll be fun. Yeah. So anyway, I realize sometimes when I go on these chats, I kind of see the chats go by and I miss some of this stuff. Spooky fish or steak. Both are good, man. Like fish is delicious. Like if I had to choose between the two, like fish is the better protein. It's a healthier option in a sense. Just because of the omega, DHA, DPA, like those kind of fats that are in there. But and fish is wonderful, but there's a season for that, I'm finding. And then there's a season for like steak and meat and that sort of sense, like red meats and stuff, which has got a lot of really good things in it too. So yeah, I couldn't say one thing over the other. Like I can't get into a mono diet or something like that. I know people do that, and it's a possibility, but I don't really feel drawn to do that. Yeah. GF, am I concerned about world affairs? WW3. Forget WW3. What about WW4? Carol Danvers. That's friggin' hilarious. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, like, there's been a few things that have taken place in the last little while that got me thinking about that. And I was just like, hell no, like, fuck, what a giant waste. Sorry, did I just swear? I'm not supposed to swear on YouTube, but I was like, no friggin' way. Like, yeah, what, like, it's got to be the most awful thing. Like, when I was younger, there was, you know, I watch war movies and stuff, and I can, as a boy and stuff, is like, yeah, Rambo and all that stuff. Like, that kind of thing was really fun to kind of watch and that sort of thing, action movies and stuff. And there's still like some, I don't know, weird fun factor and all that stuff. But nowadays, like, I mean, like, I consume it differently, and like I watch some of that stuff, and like some of it, like, I'm more sensitive to it in a way. So some scenes can be really emotional and really difficult to watch, especially when it comes to like children and stuff. Like, if kids get into situations where they film like some kid getting suffering or something like that, I just like, that's hard. But there's so much uncertainty around all that stuff, and it's just a terrible waste. So, what I think about it is, it it could always be a possibility, right? It's, I'm not naive to that, but I'm more optimistic, and I think like, I don't know, it'd be a damn tragedy, I tell you that. Like, a big tragedy. I'd probably cry for a long friggin' time if things broke out to like that, man. If I was alive to cry. Who knows what that would look like, but yeah, I don't know. That would be a hard pill to swallow, I think. And a total, like, a tragic waste. So I try not to worry about that kind of thing, because I feel like that just gets me into this psychological loop, into something that is not presently a reality, and I'm thinking about something that doesn't exist, and I'm putting myself through stress and all this stuff based on fear and something that's not necessarily real. I know there's certain types of social media content, and even like mainstream media, or that kind of thing, where these this fear programming and stuff is promoted, and it makes you worried about that sort of stuff. And there's a whole narrative behind all that sort of thing that it kind of sickens me sometimes. Oh man, like, and it the funny thing about it is, it's not like it's a malicious act. It's just like, like those fear, like, these news people and social media stuff and all that stuff, like putting out fear content. It's not like that's malicious acts. Sometimes it's just clickbait. It's because that's what sells ads, and so people are putting that kind of stuff out there. And that's what's tragic about it. It's because it's just like, man, this is terrible, because then it just keeps us in this negative headspace, and I don't think that's good. So yeah, I try not to spend too much time there, and I feel like it's more important for me. Like, I could get caught up in it, and I could maybe try to do something to like stand up, and I don't know, like if I had to fight or something like that, I guess I would. But like, I really don't want to. I feel like the fight now is me putting out positivity, creativity, and doing something that is going to have a positive impact on the community, you guys, the greater community, the world, people right, beside me, Emmy, Chrome, J5 Custom Vans, my cousins and family, and all these people that are here and there and everywhere. So I think that's my fight. That's where I tend to show up best, and that's where I perform the best. So anyway, that's what I think about that stuff. If it, yeah, I mean, it would be absolutely horrible if any of that happened. So yeah, holy shit. I'm swearing now. All right, well, we're already 2 hours in the live stream, so like at this point, YouTube's like, oh well, you know, you passed the 4 minute mark, so just don't go on a swearing frenzy. Yeah, it's weird. So when it comes to insanity, says everyone swears on YouTube. It's so weird because like naturally I swear, like I don't swear a lot, but like you know the F word is part of my vocabulary. Shit is part of my vocabulary. Like all that stuff is a part of my vocabulary in daily life, and like I feel like there's a there would be more of an authenticity about me if I just kind of left that in there and I wasn't kind of trying to censor myself from saying those sorts of things on the channel. But there's the advertiser friendly guidelines and the monetization process of all YouTube and all that sort of stuff, and it's got pretty strict guidelines around swearing, and they pretty much have like a zero tolerance policy on it. Not necessarily, but like they're like, yeah, if you want to run ads on your channel and monetize it, like you don't swear. Like you can swear later in a video, you can get away with it here and there, but I knowing that they've got a strict policy about it. I know that they've got advertisers out there, people that are working with them, and this kind of really sucks, man. Really sucks. Because on one hand, I just want to say fuck it and swear and be myself and go. That's how we ought to be. Like screw the whole censoring thing. But on the other hand, it's like, well, I'm trying to make a little bit of revenue from this too and make a living actually and keep this going and grow it. So in some ways I kind of have to respect some of those wishes of the advertisers. Personally, I think them feeling like we don't want to advertise on channels with somebody that swears or uses the F word ever. Like there's probably some companies out there that are like, yeah, he doesn't swear in all his videos, but he swears sometimes, so we don't want to be a part of that. You know, that might be, that might be a good advertiser, like a good portion of income. I hate to say it because it's like, oh, that helps me pay for the channel and keep doing this kind of thing. And if I miss out on some of that stuff because I swear here and there, that does make me question and go, well, maybe I should not swear at all. Because I don't know how the friggin' algorithm works. I don't understand how all that stuff is. It's not like they share the whole thing about it and say that. But like when I see somebody else and then they just, oh shit, I can relate to that and go, yeah, shit is right. Like, you know, but, or I could just be like, curses, maybe I just say curses and that'll come across as being the same thing. I don't know. I had a friend who said that. He would just, instead of swearing, he'd just say curses. And I was thinking about him recently about all that. And I was like, oh, maybe I just need to say curses. Train myself to say that, curses. We'll make it funny again, somehow. But I wish it was just looser and it was just like, come on, man. Like national television, people swear. Sports industry, like, I mean, they're not supposed to, but it happens. But when people swear, people are like, yes, like, okay, we can relax now. Like, let's relate to this, Look at this. I'm even getting super chats now that we're talking about swearing. Oh, yeah. NZ Camperhausen, thank you. And Coach Rob Willie, thank you. Hey, good fun times. Anyway, swearing, all that stuff, yeah. There are people that swear a fair bit on YouTube, and there are other people that don't. I just been like asking myself that question, like it's kind of where I'm at with the channel right now too, is just thinking about like getting over that tipping point, trying to like be good but not being inauthentic. Like I definitely want to be authentic. I'd like to swear, like, not excessively, but just loosely, just out there sometimes, and just do that. So maybe I use curses instead. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it's just like, man, that's so antiquated. It should be allowed to swear. Like, really. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, Insanity, he's like getting a second wind. tell you what, I had a coffee at 3 p.m. and that's why I'm like this. Are we at 3 hours? Okay, guys. Yeah, and we're down to 208. You guys are dropping off like flies now. I'm just kidding. Like, we're going to bed, man. He just started swearing. Better wrap this up. I had a good time, you guys. It was fun. I should probably go to bed. Thank you, Brenda, for swearing. She says, "All right, yeah, guys. I think we're wrapping it up. I haven't done 3 in a long time. Is it really 3 hours? It just says, where does it say? 180 minutes. Yeah, was that? Yeah, man, that's 3 hours. Holy cow. Okay. That's a long time. I never said hi. Hi, Shannon. Hi, Shannon Mofat. Okay, you guys. We'll see you soon. Stay tuned. I got some van fixer upper stuff coming out, and it's gonna be fun. So I didn't sell that very well, but I'll see you in the next one. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.